Good morning, Elro. Good morning, Colleen. What's up, Trina? Trina. Good morning, Bobby. How are you? Good morning, everybody. Over here on the tube of you, the stack of sub, and the book of faces. What's up, Stacy D? In the place to be. Missed you, sis. Where in the hell have you been? Um, hey, Deborah Richards. What's up, Laura? Good to see you, Lady Q. Nice to see everybody. Just losing your mind. That's not a good thing, Bobby. It doesn't really help anybody, does it? What's up, Eric? Good to see you as well. Hey, Deborah. We have a lot to talk about today, as usual, and I think that I think we should be prepared. I said this in the chat this morning. What's up, Farah? Hello, Christine. Hello, Jen. So I said this in the chat this morning, and I'm going to say it again. This prompt may bring some folks into the room. Remember that if trolls come in, folks, just ignore, don't engage, and mods don't mute unless we have to. Good morning, Kat. Good morning, Carmen. Salam. Um, let's see. Good morning, Christine. Hello, Red Hot. What's up, Morty? Brandy, Grandmother OG. Amy, what's up, sis? How is everyone? Everybody's doing okay? Good morning, Emily Rose. Good morning, Michigan Mountaineer. Hello, folks. How are you guys? Listen, if you don't greet me on YouTube, Substack, and Facebook, I don't know that you are there and I can't greet you back. So say hello, people. What's up, Moon? Good to see you. Hello, Mel Gray. What's up, Conchita? Um, can I tell you where I got my kafia? Yeah. Uh, oh my gosh. If you hadn't asked me, yes, but the website is kuvrd.ca. kuvrd.ca. That's the website. All right. Good gosh. That was a lot. Good morning, Just Nice. Hello, Find Out. What's up? Salt and Sassy, Beach Bum Wannabe. Good to see you. What's up, Witch? How are you? That .ca, not .ck, .ca. What's up, Candy Kiss? Hello, folks. How be you? I may have upset some folks. Last night was a long night. It was. And Kat, to be quite fair, today is probably going to be longer. So if for those of you who do not know, you are welcome, Moon. For those of you who do not know, the flotilla has now passed the Port Said, which to us looks like Port Said, but Port Said. Good morning, Angie. And that is the place where the last flotilla was intercepted. So what does that mean? It means that, at any point in time now, something could happen. Thank you, Witch. Um, I'm not sure that I think that I do too, Jamie. They're live over here on my other laptop. So I do not think that Israel will do anything during the day, but who knows, right? And so here's what I think will be. Yeah, you're welcome, Cats. I think what will be the key is that this evening, folks, this evening is when they get close to Gaza. So remember that these boats are not motor boats. The majority of the flotillas are sailboats. So they are going around five nautical miles an hour, something like that. Okay. They are under 100. They're right around 100 nautical miles, right, from Gaza, maybe a little less. And so what that means is they would be arriving in, let me see, they're probably around 90 now, which means they would be arriving in Gaza around 3 o'clock in the morning, our time, Eastern Standard Time. And so good morning, everybody. And no, they are not receiving protection in. No, they are not. They are not receiving protection in. So they will be expected to arrive in Gaza around 3, 4 in the morning. So everything from this point forward, they are in what you would consider hostile territories. Good morning, Robert. They would be in that type of area. So here are the questions that I have for people that are supporting Israel in this. Yeah, they are in international waters. Yes. Um, but I think that people really need to. Italy and Spain are not with them. Hey, I'm not. So, folks, listen. I don't bring people up the entire time during my live. I will bring people up later on in my live, but it won't be right now. I've got to get through some news today, and I've got to get through a lot of things that are happening here in the U.S. And we are going to talk about the flotilla all day long, right? But in terms of like bringing up folks on the panel, not ready to do that just yet this morning. Good morning, FAFO. So just letting folks know, I do intend to bring some folks up and that sort of thing, but it just won't be right now. Okay. Good morning, Scotty. Yeah. So that's where we are, folks. If you want to, so here's what I would recommend that you do. You can go to YouTube to the Global Samud Flotilla's live feed. You can watch them there the entire time. Salam, brothers. Good morning, Wesley. And if you go to the Global Samud Flotilla's website, good morning, Candy. Good morning, Susan. Hey, Celia B. You can actually see on the tracker where they are. And if you look on the tracker this morning, they are now past, like a little bit past Port Said. Hello, Wadmi. And so they are now past where the last flotilla was intercepted. I saw somebody ask in the comments, what does intercepted mean? If you want me to be direct, it means kidnapped, because Israel doesn't have permission to take this, any of these vessels in international waters, right? So the real terminology is kidnapped, because Megan, I don't have any thoughts about that. I don't know. Yeah, no, I know they're less than 200. They were less than 200 this morning, brothers. They're less than 100 nautical miles away. So when I got off, just so that we're clear, when I got offline at about 12:30 this morning. Good morning, Lady Ryder. So let me tell you guys. So when I got offline at about 12:30, 1 o'clock this morning, they were at around 135 nautical miles from not bringing anybody up right now. I will bring people up later, but not right now. Okay. And so that's how far away they were. Okay. And so the total for them to get to Gaza at that time was like 36. I wasn't on my channel. I was on A Money is Live, Cat. Well, first I was on the Globe. I was on the Flotilla Scribe live. And then I was on A Money is Live after that. I was going to go live, but here was the thing. Once the Flotilla Scribe went live, I chose not to go live on my own page and just to go over there and go on their panel, just to help bring viewership in, because we needed as many people watching as possible. So I just chose to go on their live with them. Good morning, Jared. Good to see you. Good morning, Sandra. So that's what I did. So here's the thing. Let me just kind of give you the rundown. Okay. So as of right now, everybody's fine. You can watch the tracker on their website. You can watch the actual live on YouTube. Here's what I can tell you about hey, Nance, good morning. So about the live last night, things that you will see. Can I just share with you some things so that tonight, when you see them, you don't freak out? Because last night, a lot of people were freaking out. So remember that they are at sea. Okay. There's not a ceasefire in place right now, Stacey D. There's not a ceasefire in place right now. Hamas, the Arab leaders, and Israel and the United States, there's no deal that's been done. Thanks, Sunflower Fish. Good morning, Penny G. Give me 1 second, and then I'll get to that piece of it in just a second, okay? Because as you can see, we are going to talk about the bullshit yesterday. You followed me around last night, cats. Love that. So listen, good morning, Scott. I want to say this. I'm going to talk about Pete Hegseth and the things that he said yesterday. And I'm going to talk about several different things. Good morning, Brad. Because they are really, really important. Because there were things in that speech that I hope people paid attention to. And some of it, I'm not sure that you did. I have it pulled up. I'm going to play some of the audio from it. But I do want to talk about that bullshit, which is why you see this. the images that you see on the screen. Okay. Hey, Sacred Titi. Salam, sis. But in addition to that, folks, we are going to talk about this government shutdown. We are going to talk about the folks that are furloughed. We are going to talk about shit. Of course, we're going to talk about the flotilla. We're going to talk about all of those things. But we're going to kind of do them in order. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to give you something just to maybe help navigate your emotions and your anxiety. Hey, Siva, tonight. Okay. So, well, honey, Mary Jo, if you think there's nothing to talk about, get the fuck off my live. How about that? See, that's all you got to do. If you think there's nothing to talk about, why are you here? Just to be a troll? Just to do what? If there's nothing to talk about, shut the fuck up. There you go. That's it. It's not hard. So sometimes I will 100% meet you where you're at. So especially if you are a grown adult. So let me just say this to you all, okay? This is the way that I truly feel about this. I don't care who you voted for. I don't care what political party you belong to. I don't care what religion you pray to or you don't, right? Very mashallah, right, Moon? I don't care what every single person who is a responsible adult can see right now is that shit is not okay. Not in the United States of America, not in Palestine, not around the world. Nope. Opinions are fine, Swamp Fox. If you would like to come up here and discuss your opinions, come on up on the panel. Mary Jo didn't have an opinion other than there was nothing to talk about. So I invited her to shut the fuck up and leave. Now, if you would like to discuss your opinions, then you can just go ahead and request your way on up here and we can talk about them. Now, if that was your attempt at hinting at censorship, let me just clue you in on a couple of things. Okay. This is my live. So, yes, beloved, there is censorship. If you don't like it, go run your own live. Right. It's the same thing, right? Like leave the country if you don't like it. If you don't like my live, leave the live. Right. That's it, doll. That's it. It's just that simple. So let me go ahead and finish what I'm going to say. I want to give you guys some things so that you can navigate your way through the flotilla. Okay. Thank you, Renee. Love that. And so let me just give you a few things. I am a dictator. Bye, Swamp Fox. So let me just give you an idea about some things. If you go online and if you go to watch the Global Flotilla and you see some of the screens go black, do not freak out. Do not assume that something bad has happened to people. And the reason why is they're at sea. So a lot of times they will lose connection. Sometimes their internet can get jammed. That does happen, right? But I just don't want everybody. So last night when Alma's camera went out, people just freaked out, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, they've been hit! They've been hit." Stop doing that, and don't let people. If you're going to watch on YouTube, my personal recommendation is to turn off the chat. Turn off the chat. Because there are bad actors. There are people that are in these chats and on these platforms that are meaning to spread misinformation around the flotilla. Right? You got it? So it's really important for folks to understand that that's the thing. Okay. Next, if you see any statements online that look like they are coming from the Global Flotilla's organization, even if it has, good morning, Carl, even if it has their logo on it, right? Go to the website, check the media tab, and ensure that press release, that media tab is there on the website. Because yesterday I saw a document that was supposed to be from them, but it was not on their official website. And there are people that are doing really horrible things, right? And so don't let yourself be part of the problem where you spread misinformation. when you don't want to. Folks, if you have not done your heart me, could you please do that so TikTok can get out of my face? TikTok is asking me to have 40 people send their heart me's in 15 minutes. So need that to happen. If you haven't done so already. Sorry, guys, I covered you up. Um, and well, but here's the thing. So Brad Short, I Trump alone is not the problem. So let me tell you all what Brad said. Brad commented on Facebook and he said, you talking about the world, it has gone crazy because of Trump. He is an absolute idiot, is the problem. I disagree with that, folks. I think it is a mistake to blame what is happening in the entire world on one person. And I think it's very important for us to realize and understand that he is just the face. He is just the front of a mechanism that is happening behind the scenes, right? And he is not the only problem. The reason he looks like he's the problem is because he's the one person that has been willing to do this with no conscience, with no morals, with no integrity. He's the one who's been willing to do the things. And so I think it's really important that we start phrasing things the right way. And can we have a little bit of accountability at the same time? Okay. So it's not just Donald Trump that is an issue, right? It is the people that voted and elected him, and it is also the folks that did not vote at all. So we're going to take this big batch of accountability and we're going to spread it out to absolutely everyone that it applies to. G, you don't want shit. You want to know what? Accept attention. Do you want to know how I know you don't want anything, G? Because you're still in the comments. If you wanted to actually have a conversation, you would have requested up by now, right? But you haven't. And you most likely will not. Why? Because you're just a troll that likes being in the comments. So thank you for contributing to my algorithm. I really appreciate that. And you know what? Here's what I would say. I know it's very hard to let go, right? When we have a crush on someone, but Kamala Harris is not in office, right? At all. She's minding her own business. The fact that you're still talking about her almost a year after the election when she's not in public office, maybe you have a crush, maybe you have some unresolved feelings that you might want to consider, seeking some support about. It's really, I know it can be difficult to let go, but somebody can help you with that. Right, Allie, unrequited love. So, all right. So I gave an update on the flotilla. I will do it again. I saw it. Oh, thanks, Grayson. So let me just tell you. So here's the thing. Thanks, Rebel. The flotilla is down past Port Said, which is closer than the last flotilla got. When the weather goes down, when nighttime comes, which you guys, I need you all to remember that it is late. It is going to be late there a lot sooner for us. Okay, so once the sun goes down, that is when things are going to intensify on the flotillas. Things that you are going to see. You are going to see people on the boats, and they're going to be in their life vests. Some of them you will see are practiced to line up on deck, and they're sitting with their lights on. Don't assume that means anything bad has happened. Guys, I need like 8 more heart me's. Thank you guys for doing the flash goal. 7 more now. Appreciate it. And so it's really important, hey, Carla, that everybody understand things that you might see and what not to get worried about. Okay. They have all been trained, exactly, Jamie, on a protocol for what it looks like when you are encountered with this level of aggression. Okay. Thank you guys for hitting the goal. I appreciate you. And so when you see them putting on life jackets, when you see them with the lights on the life jackets turned on, when you see if the feed goes out, remember they are in the middle of the ocean, and sometimes the feed is going to go out. That doesn't mean anything. I will tell you this: what I saw last night was that What I saw last night is on the thing, they had typed the words interception alert and taken it off the screen. Good morning. And so listen to this, folks. That is ready so that if there is an interception, that will flash up on the live feed. So there's really no need to speculate, in my opinion, folks, because they're going to put it on the screen as soon as an interception has happened, right? So the live is on YouTube, Grayson. If you just go Global Samud Flotilla Live, the live is there. There's only, I think, 4 boats that are on right now. Last night, they put as many as 12 boats up on the screen all at one time so that we could see them. You're welcome, Nightsin. I know that it can be overwhelming. Good morning, Baba Egg. And people can get worried. And so what I want to try to do is just bring the temperature down a little bit. Bring the temperature down a little bit. So for folks to really be able to kind of follow along, there's no need oh, I love that, Cam. Thank you. Cam put the tracker on the in the general chat of our Discord. There's 47 boats, I believe, and a new boat launched this morning. I saw there is a medics and a medics and doctors boat, I think, that launched today that I saw. I'll pull it up just to make sure, but I believe that also happened today, that set sail. So it's not like this is the only time. This is not going to end with just this group of boats. There are more on the way. So if you want to track where they are on the map, you can do that at the Global Samud Flotilla.org website. There's a tracker there. And then if you want to track, if you want to watch the live feed, you can watch it on YouTube. One of the things that there are several live feeds on YouTube. The Associated Press has one, Reuters has one. What I would recommend is that, no worries 2409, what I would recommend is watching the one from the Global Samud Flotilla, because that's the one that they are doing, right? Kat, what are we sorry about for Mohammed? I missed the comment. Either that or it didn't come through. Mohammed, where? He might have to type it for me. I'm not sure if I have I'm not sure if I have a money or somebody that can help. Mohammed, your family where?
Today family in Gaza fire now today.
Your family that's in Gaza? Hold on. Give me 1 second, folks. I can go here.
Comment, sister. Comment.
Yep, I am. Hold on 1 second. Okay. I am I'm messaging with him so that because it's easier, because when I message, he will be able to read it in Arabic, and then when he messages back, I can read it in English, which is just easier.
Comment, sister.
Okay. Mohammed, check WhatsApp. Woof. Darabella. Darabella is where Abu Sarraj is.
Yes.
Have we checked on him?
Yes. Abu Sarraj.
So this is what I'm saying. For those of you all who think that there's some sort of ceasefire that has happened, that has not occurred. There is not a ceasefire. Israel has continued to do what Israel does, which I think they intend to do this entire time. So it's important to remember that that things are not safe, and things are not okay. Yeah, Rebecca Littlebird, I have as well. I was on with the Flotilla Scribe. Well, I was on with the Flotilla Scribe No, the boats are fine, Nance. I was on with Flotilla Scribe until I don't know whatever time they ended up going off, 11:30 or whatever, maybe 11. I don't know. And then I went over with A Money's live last night, and we stayed on. So I have them pulled up. I have the video pulled up, the live stream over here. The tracker is over here, so that we can keep up. So no, Mohammed is saying that his family in Gaza in Della um hey Mohammed. Yeah.
Hi, sister.
Dear Bala.
Nana, no good. I am no good. No good, sister.
Yes.
Wala no good.
So how many of your family?
No good one.
I know, no good.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, sister.
Thank you.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So folks,
Alhamdulillah.
when he's saying alhamdulillah, that is still
Wallahi, sis.
yeah. They so like they will say thank God, alhamdulillah. They will say that in the worst of circumstances. Good morning, Mark Bradley. Um yeah. So for those of you who do not know, Mohammed lost his brother a year ago, last year, to the IDF. Um, and so today, um, hold on one second. Um, Deir Abala, which is in Gaza, is uh, is where his other family, the rest of his family is, and he is saying that they were hit today, and he said a massacre was carried out. I don't know if that means all of them were unalived or not. Um, Let me see if I can ask him. Mohammed, check WhatsApp. I know you are very sad. I know you are very sad. He's checking WhatsApp for me now. I need to. Jeez. Okay, so his cousin, his cousin's wife, and their children were martyred in Deir. Oh my gosh. Okay, I got it. Hey, Rosalind, give me 1 second, you guys. Dear Abala, right? So, my part of my concern too is that Deir Abala is also where Abu Sarraj is, so of course I'm concerned as well. Moon, has anybody? Because I messaged Abu Sarraj, and I haven't gotten a reply back just yet. Okay. So yeah. Okay. Thanks, Moon. I messaged him on WhatsApp. So okay. Okay. So you tried to rebel. Okay. I'm not gonna freak out or anything and until we know more. Until we know more. So okay. So a couple of things, folks. Um so in Gaza, there's part of Gaza is a city that's Deir al Bala. It's Abu Sarraj was displaced from Gaza, and he was in Deir al Bala. And Mohammed is a friend of ours that is in South Gaza, and he has family in Deir al Bala, and they were massacred today by the IDF. He lost his cousin, his cousin's wife, and their children were unalived today. Um, so that's what we're talking about. And so because I'm trying to also get a hold of Abu Sarraj, um, because that is where he is with all of his family. Um, Raja came down south from the north, so he should not be in Deir Abala. There's somebody else that's there too. There's somebody else that's there that we know because they were talking about it the other day. No, Sammy is not there. Sarah. Oh, I can't remember. I can't remember because no, it's one of maybe it is no, it's somebody else that we brought on the panel because when they were talking and they were introduced to Abu Sarraj, they were talking about the fact that they were near each other, but I cannot remember who it was. Hey Andrew, good to see you. So I wanna say a couple things, folks. I don't have you don't know if the translation went through. Okay. Abu Sarraj has not even it doesn't even show me that it's fully gone through yet. Moon, what I don't know what you're saying, Moon. Help me. Right. That's what I said. His cousin, well, because he told me in the chat, he said, my cousin, his wife, and children were martyred. Oh, it was the curly headed guy who's in the awesome. Thank you, Coco. He's in the school shelter. That's who I think it was. Right, Mohammed. Yes, Mohammed Osama. Yes. Um, so this is when this is one of the things that you always get concerned about because you never know when you log in who who you're going to see and what's happened, right? You never know who you're going to see and what has happened, and these are people that we have developed friendships with, that we care about, that we love, that we want to be well, and so Right. Right. Who's still alive when we wake up? Yes, Coco. Exactly. It's that. 100%. It is that. Um yeah. So we will be waiting to hear from Abu Straj um to make sure he is okay, along with yeah, Moon, me too. I okay. I messaged on I know, alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah Mohammed. Um Today the occupation closed Al Rashid Street, which connects the north and the south. So they did this. Mohammed Osama, didn't they do this? So guys, we have Mohammed OS, and then the one on the top, we call him Baby Osama. I know he's grown, but we call him Baby Osama because he's still young.
Salam
Um,
everyone.
Salam Mohammed.
My family right now in the South Gaza.
Mm-hmm.
Alhamdulillah. He is him in Khan Yunis area.
In this area, okay.
Alhamdulillah. But him not internet right now.
Mm-hmm.
When him connection internet sent me voice for Danny and team Danny. Okay.
Okay. So if,
W everyone. W Danny, thank you everyone for support my family. محمد أسامة عظم الله أجركم يا حبيبي. إن شاء الله آخر الأحزان طبعا خطرنا واحد وربنا يكون معكم.
So if you all remember, both of these guys that are on the panel right now, both of these guys that are on the panel right now, it was this group of people online with us that helped them get to the South, right? So Mohammed Osama on the bottom, you know, he's a Palestinian journalist. You know that it was him, his wife, his kids, including little baby Osama, his sister, his mother, and remember, I got to meet them via WhatsApp, and we got them from the north to the south, and then got their new tent set up. And then, if you all remember, baby Osama is the one that we were really scrambling last week to get them out of the north to the south. When Shantae messaged me, Shantae said that literally the day that, like when we got that money and I sent it via PayPal, she literally said that when they were on the phone, they had tanks coming in. They had to go on the road because of where the tank was pew pewing, right? And then his family is 25 members. That's 25 members that were able to leave North Gaza and get to the south because of the folks that are on this app with me, and the folks that are following and helping. So here's what I will say. Does it always feel yucky that you can't do more? Of course it does, right? And I want you all to take a little bit of solace in the fact that we have done some things, right? And so I just I when I think about it, I know with Mohammed Osama, you're talking I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 people that I know of. It may be more than that. Um, but let's just say that we'll just be conservative and say that 25 with his family. Then you have Bilal and his children and their family, and then you have Raja and his children, and their family. And so, you know, 40 or 50 people have been directly benefited because of the stuff that we have bound together to do on social media. So I just want you all to take a little bit of solace in that, right? And know that you've done something that is impactful. Okay. I just want you all to know that. So both of these folks we know are very well vetted. We know that they are in need. I will tell you this: I sent a little donation 2 days ago to Mohammed OS on the bottom because the prices had dropped a little bit for food and things like that, and they really needed it. They, the water situation is not great, and now is a good time to help if you can, because they're able to get more bang for the buck. Go ahead, Mohammed.
Danny, you will get 25 people from Date. Thank you, everyone. Wallah. I love you so much. I love you, Danny. I love you, Team Danny. Thank you. I am very sad because my family right now is safety. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Voila. Oh wait, I remembered. Oh my gosh, let me figure it out. Uh, Alfwan. Alfwan. That's your welcome. Alfwan.
You're welcome. Shukran. Thank you.
Shukran. Thank you. Yes, Alfwan. You're welcome.
Yes.
I remembered. I learned it last night. Yeah. 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 I was like, oh, let me remember what it was. Yes. Yeah. Alfwan. Yes. You have cough. Your cough. Do you have medicine?
I am sick, wallah.
Yeah.
10 day sick.
Okay. Rest.
I am good right now, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah. You guys you always say alhamdulillah no matter what's wrong.
Always, people in Gaza and out Gaza say alhamdulillah.
Yes. Alhamdulillah, no matter what. Alhamdulillah. Yes. Yes, red hot. They are. Yeah, Tutu Danny is like, oh, you got a little cough. For those of you who also don't know Mohammed, Big Mohammed and Baby Mohammed, right? So Big Mohammed has a no. No, you could be my child. Like, okay. Yes. So Baby Mohammed and Big Mohammed. So Big Mohammed has a horrible burn, you all. If you don't know, he has a significant burn on his foot. The challenge that they are running into is he cannot locate antibiotics. So he's finding as much natural remedies and getting as much, herbs and things like that as he can. But I just want you all to know that that is the case. So anything that you're able to do in terms of coins and things like that will help not only with food and regular stuff, but also in the care of his wound. It is pretty significant. I saw it yesterday, so it is pretty significant. Okay.
Thank you, Mama Danny. Thank you, Mama Danny.
Mama Danny. Yeah. So yesterday when we had Osama on Mohammed's little boy, he was. I asked who was with me. I think it was Hiba. Hiba was on with me, and I said yes. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Cat. He can take, if you send to his link, he can take it out. He can withdraw from his link at any point in time. It does not have to reach a goal. That's how we've been able to help so far. Yes, I can. So to be honest, it's both, Sabirio, but I'll move them around. So, yeah, so you all remember Mohammed OS, Palestinian journalist. The challenge is that, yes, he's the one with the burn on his foot. Mohammed has a significant burn on his foot, and antibiotics are almost impossible to find. 100%. So while he's up there, I want you guys to go ahead and keep gifting while we talk. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. So yesterday Hiba told me the Arabic name for aunt, and so he had little Osama was on yesterday calling me that. So anyway, it was cute, very cute. Good morning, everybody. All right, so just so that you all know, the global flotilla is down past Port Said. It has down past Port Said, so it is further than the last flotilla. And he is so you can see he's very sad. It always bothers me when I see him sad. I've only ever seen Mohammed sad twice. The first time was when literally they needed help to get out of the north. And then today, because part of his family has been martyred in Deir Abala. And so he lost his cousin's wife, and their children. Um, so yeah, when they talk about these very precise, targeted attacks, it's just not accurate, folks. It's just not accurate. So the majority of the people that have been unalived are civilians. They are civilians. A large portion of them have been unalived in places where Israel said, it's safe, go here. It's safe, go here. Right. And so that just tells you that oftentimes they are lured somewhere, being told it is safe. Okay, I got you, Cam. So I'm gonna take the box back. Keep because that way TikTok doesn't get mad at me. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing, guys. So this Osama had 25 family members that we were able to help get from North to South Gaza. Um, and then this is our original OG Muslim. That's what I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna call him the OG Mohammed. He's the OG Mohammed, y'all. Um, and he's the one that we have known for quite a while now. Feels like forever, quite frankly. Feels like forever. But he's got a horrible burn on his foot. And you know, not a whole lot of antibiotics. Um, Winter is coming, right? And so the need for blankets and things like that. Appreciate you, Jackie Brown. Um, the If you're in my Discord, um, yeah. So Moon, we were able to get him a tent. We got a big one. Let me see, Moon, if I can. Hold on. Hmm. So after we got them to the South Moon, that was the next thing that we did. This isn't like the best picture of it because it cuts it off, but this is the one tent that we were able to do. Um, and then so Raja had a tent, but it needed to be repaired and all of that. And so yes, yeah. Um, Thank you, Coco. So yeah, I think it's around, Coco, I want to say around like 6 grand or so. We were able to do in about 11 days. And we primarily focused on four folks. We had OG Mohammed, we had Raja, Bilal, um, baby Mohammed. Um, those were our main four families that we were able to focus on. Um, and so right now is And I know that it's difficult, folks. Like right now, the pressure is so bad because there's so many people that, yeah, we did help Amal. I know she wasn't part of that big push that we did. We did have her on the other day, and that sort of thing. So I know that those four were our four big pushers. And folks, listen, we can't always do like there ain't no way that we can do that every single week, right? Or every single 2 weeks because we ain't made out of money. But I won't say but, I will say and we can do what we can, where we can, how we can, cool moon, and help, period, right? Matter of fact, if you can't give monetarily, folks, it's cool because I believe number one, when you want to give, that the universe, Amal was gifted to. Okay, cool, sacred CD, thank you. And so, whenever you repost, whenever you like the live, whenever you, of course, give coins, if you go and you donate directly, the links are in my link tree, and they are also on their pages. They're very easy to use. Yep, the links are more profitable for them. Yeah. So I just want you all to take a deep breath for a minute and just breathe. Remember with the global flotilla, if you are watching live, don't freak out if any of the screens go black because they are on the water, and some of them just they don't have great connection all the time. Um, they do have a little like notice to put across the screen if something happens, if an interception does happen. So I feel very confident that we would know. And then what else was I going to say? Oh, just make sure that you don't play into the stuff with the trolls. Okay. Um, yeah, it's very beautiful there. It's very beautiful. Yeah. If you haven't gone to see the live flotilla, I recommend that you do so. Yeah, you're welcome, Robert Brooks. Because I got to watch the live flotilla today when the sun came up, and it was absolutely gorgeous. It was incredible. Um, so yeah, that was amazing. All right, let's talk. The United States of America. Y'all want to do that for a minute with our because we have our own level of fuckery happening in this country, um, and I think it's really important that people pay attention. How many of you all know that the what's the best place to view the updates? Uh, Conchita, it varies to be quite frank. The tracker, you can see where they are on the map on their official site. Yeah, yeah, Coco. Yeah, they can still stay here. Baby Mohammed and OG Mohammed, they can both just stay there and people can gift them while I continue talking about US stuff, okay? Yep, awesome. Yep, just let them know. So if you go to the Global Sumud Flotilla's website, that is where you can see the tracker and you can see where they are physically um, in their travels. Okay. Um, if you go to YouTube, you can watch the live feed where you see the people on the boats and all of that. Okay. I would say the sun is about to start to go down, and this is when things are going to get a little. This is when things have the potential to get dicey. Okay. Um, just so everybody knows, this is when it does have the potential for things to kind of kick up a notch because they are further than any other flotilla has gotten. Um, I mean, like I'm so here. I'm going to show you guys where they are. How about that? You want to just see for a second? Give me one moment. Um, all right. So I'm going to share with you guys to over here for just a second so that you can see. I need it to load. It is loading. Yay, me. So now that they can see, I'm going to show you guys. You ready? I'm going to get to US stuff, I promise. I keep trying to get there and then people keep asking about the flotillas. So let me just turn my screen around for you. So this is where they are, and this is Gaza, as you can see. So Port Said is where the furthest boats got previously. It's around here that they were intercepted. Um, Last night they were back around here when I got off. Okay, so I'm guessing if I'm doing the math even remotely accurate, they let me see. If they were at midnight, they were 140 nautical miles at no at 11, and they're going 5 nautical miles an hour, right? And it's been 10 hours, 11 hours since then. So that means they've gone 55 miles. So if they've gone 55 nautical miles since we were on last night with them, that means that they are roughly sitting at about 90, 85 to 90 nautical miles from Gaza. That's how close they are. And if they are continue to go, if they are continuing to go around 5 nautical miles an hour, right? And that's how long they have left, right? No, 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 Jackie, that's not 2 days out. You figure they if they're down to like 80 or 90 miles an hour, well, 80 or 90 nautical miles left. Hold on, guys. I can't answer all the questions while I do math in my head. Um, you're talking 15 hours, because 15 hours would be, yeah, 75 nautical miles. Yeah, so it's about 15 hours away. So, like I said earlier, probably around 3 or 4 amen. 3 or 4 in the morning. Those ships, there was never a ship from China that I'm aware of, and there are no other ships with them. There are no ships with them. Not all of the Mohammeds. Mohammed Skake is here too. Really? Salam, Mohammed. Um, Now there are 47 boats. It's not one boat. All of these, see how this says 40? When you zoom in, there's more and more boats. So see, all of these arrows are boats. So when I click it, it tells me this is the Anais Al Sharif boat from Florida. This is Sirius. I saw Sirius last night on the thing, right? This is Aurora. These are all the different ships that are there. Okay, Mia Mia, Wahoo. All of the other ones have gone. Okay, so this is the tracker. I'm going to zoom back out because I just want you all to see again where we are looking in terms of, let me just refresh, where we are looking in terms of the map itself, and you can see where they are. So again, this is where the boats are. This is Port Said, and this is Gaza. So they are now further than any other flotilla. Um, and that means things can get a little dicey, you know? Um, but that's just so everybody can see and know. Okay. Now, on the boat itself, Um, whew, I'll show you all. You want to see? Um, so this is Australia, Huga, Wahoo, which is one of the ones that we just looked at, Paola, Fair Lady, and Morgana. So you see all of this madness. Here's what I recommend you do for that. Click, click, because it's crazy. So what we are talking about is when it gets to be nightfall, when there will be a red notice that comes across the screen that says interception alert if that does happen. And so just know that if that happens, that is when it would be great to screen record. What will happen at that time is they have set individuals on each of these boats that is going to be live for as long as they can. But as soon as if this happens, if a boat like gets close enough for them to actually be boarded, then the people on the boat will be throwing their phones into the water, um, because yeah, they will have to do that to protect the people that they are in communication with, because they don't want the IDF to have any of the data that is on the phones. The other thing that I will say is what they have considered doing is once they get close, if something happens and they cannot get all the way in, and it is clear that they're not going to make it, then they have discussed putting the supplies into the ocean so that they can be carried in onto shore by the current. But those are just the things that they have discussed so far. Things that are on here, they have baby formula, they have supplies, and there's rice, and there's flour, and there's all different. There's medical supplies. There's a bunch of that's on here. So, um, yeah. So I do not know exactly like how the distribution process will work once they're there. Um, I am just I am just hoping that they get all the way in. Period. Right? That's what we're hoping for. All right. So now let's talk a little bit about the United States of America. Is it a good idea to have them live? Yes, it is a great idea to have them live. Yes, yes. And the reason why is being live is how the entire world sees what's happening. Israel has no justification for not allowing in humanitarian aid. Yeah, me too, Rebecca Littlebird. Me too. So I just need to be clear that absolutely, it is critical and it is important for them to be live for as long as possible to have everything documented. We are the documenters of history, folks. It is important that the people show what's happening, and how people are treated and what's actually on the boats, which they've done a fantastic job of doing that so far. So it's really important that as many eyes as possible be on the flotillas. Okay. Let's talk for just a second about the United States of America. Mohammed says we are eagerly awaiting the arrival of the ships. I hope they arrive safely and securely. Yes, me too. All right, so let's talk about the United States of America and the place where we are at, because folks, it is not good. It is going to be really important for people. Good morning, Enrica. For people to just be honest about where we are. If you voted for Trump previously, it's time for you to just face the facts of where we are, acknowledge that the things that are taking place are not the things that we would want in this country, right? Um, Let me be clear, you guys. Yesterday, the Department of um, Housing and Urban Development put up a post on their website, and I'm going to show you what that post said. And then I'm going to show you what it says today, so that you know. So this is on the department. This is on the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Says the radical left are going to shut down the government and inflict massive pain on the American people unless they get their $1 trillion wish list of demands. The Trump administration wants to keep the government to open for the American people. This partisan, very divisive language was on the official government website of HUD. And today, what it says, let me tell you what it says today, in case you think that something's changed overnight. It has not. What it says today is the radical left in Congress shut down the government. HUD will use available resources to help Americans in need. Secretary for HUD posted, quote, God has blessed us with this great nation, and together we can increase self-sufficiency and empower Americans to climb the economic ladder toward a brighter future. So, dear folks in the United States of America, this is where we are. Yeah, so I want to talk about a couple of things with these posts. Okay. Number one, is this the radical left being on a government website, being on a federal government website? Do you hear me? That is a problem. And if you are a quote unquote patriot for real, you would understand that and you'd be pissed about this, right? I mean, I think you're going to see lawsuits over this, of course. And I don't know that. Yeah. Well, so let me just be clear. This was also in the communication that went out yesterday to federal employees. Are you ready? So hold on, and I'm going to share. I'm going to read. I'm going to read them to you. Okay. Um, all right. So let me show you. President Trump opposes a government shutdown and strongly supports the enactment of H.R. 5371, which is a clean continuing resolution to fund the government through November 21st, and it has already passed the House of Representatives. Unfortunately, Democrats are blocking this continuing resolution in the U.S. Senate due to unrelated policy demands. If congressional Democrats maintain their current posture, and refuse to pass a clean continuing resolution to keep the government funded before midnight on September 30th, 2025, federal appropriated funding will lapse. A funding lapse will result in certain government activities ceasing due to a lack of appropriate funding. In addition, designated pre-notified employees of this agency would be temporarily furloughed. And there's like a policy that it says it would apply. And it says the agency has contingency plans in place for executing an orderly shutdown of activities that would be affected by any lapse in appropriations forced by congressional Democrats. Further information about those plans would be distributed should a lapse occur. So I want it to be very clear that even the language, that's the email that everybody received, Jen. Let me just be clear. That email was received by everyone. All they did was change the recipient's name. That same email went to HHS. It went to the Department of Labor. It went to it's the same agencies. It's the exact same agency. Two different people sent it to me yesterday talking about, girl, look at this. And it's the exact email. Now, what's not okay about this type of verbiage is when we talk about our government agencies. Good morning, G-Val. Um, no. Is what part is legal? So listen, in our federal government, in the actual federal agency, what is not supposed to happen is party language, party specific language in federal communication, right? That's not something that is supposed to be happen. There is something called the Hatch Act to prevent this from happening. So I do expect for there to be some sort of legalities, right? 100%. So, but the thing about it is, but I don't know that the Hatch Act, because the Hatch Act is about political activities. I don't know about political verbiage, right? But I'm sure that you filed a complaint with OSC. Love that, Farah. I saw that you did that yesterday. So, um, let me see. Um, must list the fact that we're saying yesterday. Yeah. Yes. So the Democrats did want to meet last week. Trump did not meet with them last week. I will tell you that yesterday, when Melanie Stansbury showed up to take votes yesterday, the doors were locked. She had to enter Congress through a side door because the door that they normally go through to vote was locked. You see Mike Johnson now refusing to swear in a rightfully elected member of Congress from Arizona, because they know that now they can have a vote, and that vote will be to release the files, right? And so he's saying, "Oh, we're going to delay. I'm not going to swear her in." Now, here's the problem with that. There is an individual there is an individual that has recorded a video that is on X that said to Mike Johnson, "You have until Wednesday," which is today, to swear her in, or they are going to release, according to this individual, Mike Johnson's Grinder account along with his IP address that leads directly back to him. And this person literally said, "I'm petty. I'm not above doing it." So we will see what happens. I do not know. Oh, yeah. That's because I was sharing the site. Sorry, Laronica. Thanks. Um, but this is what I think that people really need to realize. Um, I want you to be paying attention to verbiage, okay? When Donald Trump starts referring to the inner cities of this country as, war zones, when he starts saying that this is a part of war, putting boots on the ground in American cities is part of war, which he did say that. I just need you all to understand. He absolutely said that, right? When you have your government now putting out divisive, um, partisan rhetoric on what am I trying to say? On government agency websites, That's a problem, people. That's a problem. So, like, America, girl, you in trouble, girl. Blink twice. Everybody in this country should be walking around like this because we are in trouble as a nation, as a country. And too many people aren't recognizing it and calling it for what it is. Too many people are still talking about Donald Trump. Donald Trump's not the problem, not the only problem, right? I'm going to tell you. So here's what is the problem. The problem is that we have members of Congress that are doing the bidding of this administration. That's the problem. The Republican Party is the problem because let's dial back the hands of time. Had they stuck to their guns following January 6th, we would not be here. If Mitch McConnell, if Lindsey Graham, if all of those guys who talked about how horrible that day had stood their grounds and voted for impeachment, we would not be here. We would not be here. So let me just say this. I have an issue with the Republican Party. And, while there is a difference between MAGA and Republicans, let me just be clear. There's no difference when it comes to accountability. There might be a difference when it comes to the level of loyalty or bullshit you believe, but there is no difference when it comes to the accountability for what's happening in this country right now. Every single one of you is complicit. Every single one of you is responsible for where we are. And that's why I say beyond a shadow of a doubt. I don't have to love the Democratic Party because I don't. I don't have to love all the Democrats because I don't. And every single Democrat needs to win in every election. Do you want to know why I say that? Because the Republican Party has proven it cannot be trusted with our country. The Republican Party has proven beyond a shadow of a doubt they cannot be trusted with our Constitution and with our laws of the land. They cannot be trusted with us, with our health care. That's it. That's what they've been proven, right? So this is the way that I look at it. Let's just say, for me, you have a spouse who you have a spouse who was trained by Ike Turner. Okay, that's how that spouse knows how to treat their woman. Okay, and then you have a spouse that was and then you have a spouse that was how can I say this? The bottom line is, right, is the difference would be having a spouse like Ike Turner, right? That, eat the cake anime, might take a fist to you or whatever. And then you have a spouse who simply says, you're punished, go to your room, you have to clean up or you can't go somewhere today. Both are horrible spouses, but one is drastically different than the other. And that is what we are dealing with in our political parties in this country. Like, good morning, MG Brock, right? Michael, what do you mean they keep trying? What do you mean? Feel free to request up. My Gaza and friends are going to stay on the panel right here. But if you want to, they keep trying to silence us. Yeah. So let me tell you my thoughts about that. Right. I think that when you say, that's a good question, Scott. So Michael J, when you say they keep trying to silence us, who do you mean? Who's the they in your statement, Michael J? The administration, MAGA, got you. Yeah, the administration does keep trying, and in my opinion, I agree with you. They will not be able to. What's up, Gemini? Right, and the reason why I believe they will not be able to is because we absolutely have access to. Good morning, Joan. We have access to technology, and they cannot take that away from us. It's just that simple. Um, Hold on a second. Um, All right. So this is the part where it becomes incredibly important for us to be super responsible in how we engage um, with content, right? Um, with information, with each other, with our community, salami money, right? This is where it becomes very, very important on how we have these conversations with the people around us, and are we willing to call a thing and hold the people in our lives accountable, right? Folks, this shutdown is about one thing only. This shutdown is about the Republican Party wanting to do the will of a tyrant and refusing to have any sort of democratic process, including negotiation about what's in the best interest of the people. Do you understand the reason why Donald Trump is going to push this GOP not to meet, not to buckle, is because he doesn't like to win. He likes to double down. We know that. Even when he's lying, straight face, just lying, right? That's what he does. He requires people to double down. And that is what we are seeing right now. The key is going to be, will the constituents put enough pressure on their elected officials to say, listen, you can either do what you want or you can do what we want, and because we're the people that determine whether or not you get to come back in office, not him. Because let me just tell y'all something. Either way, can I give y'all a little bright shining light for your day today? Regardless, either way, Donald Trump is not going to be president after the next 3 years and 3 months. No matter fucking what, you do not have to worry about his ass after at the most 3 years and 3 months. At the most. Now there's a lot of likelihood that you won't have to even deal with him that long. He's not the healthiest of people. He's not the healthiest of people, right? And when and I'm just telling you, and the more his support dwindles, the less the people who are actually running things need him. You follow me? So I think that this is really, really important. And I said this the other day. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, can I ask you guys a question? How many of you all did not get to listen to my speech? Thanks, Carla. Um, from Saturday's event. How many of you all did not get to listen to my speech from Saturday? And would you like to? No, I'm not worried about them trying to replace him with Erica Kirk. If you mean as a running mate for JD Vance, no, I'm still not worried about that. Um, okay. So, yeah, but literary, I don't give a shit. He said a whole lot of things. He said he knows more about everything anybody else. I don't believe him. When he says in 40 years you won't have to vote anymore, that's entirely up to us. I need for you all to understand something, right? Okay, I got you. Hold on. I need for you all to understand something, folks. He can say whatever he wants. They can all say whatever he can make as many executive orders as he wants to. But the reality is that we determine the trajectory of this country. We do. And I'm tired of people walking around like they have no power because you do. And you have to be responsible with the power that you have. Period. Good morning, PR Marine Mom. Um, so some of you all have said you would like to see um, the speech from this past Saturday. Can you do me a favor? Put a one in the comments if you would like for me to play the speech for you. Because I can tell you, let me just be clear, it is 100% a, well, for fuck's sake, me clicking the wrong button, y'all. You could watch me all day. Girl, I don't know. I could not watch me all day, but thank you. I could not watch me all day, but I appreciate it. All right, so let me get to. All right, let me pull it up. Yeah, so I've got a clip that I put up on TikTok. I think I did today. I think I did today. That's so sad, ain't it? I think I did it today. Um, and hold on, y'all. Oh my word. Could I click the right thing? That would be so helpful. It really would. Okay, there's that. There it is. Is that the last one though? No, it's not. Hold on. I almost got it. So sad. I'm like, is that the last one? It's not. And I know it's not because um there it is. Got it. All right, so you guys hold tight. I am going to let you watch it while I let you guys watch it and do all the things right now. You ready? So let me do, and then we can talk about it. Morning, Mama. Mama, if you didn't get to see my speech, I'm about to play it, so you'll get to see it too. So let me do this. All right. You wish Tim Kaine would have stayed and listened to. Girl, by that time, Tim Kaine had more than enough of me. Tim Kaine was done with me by that time. You know. Okay. So, all right, here we go. Make sure they can see it. They can. Awesome. open. I know, y'all. I know. Just shh. I clicked the wrong button trying to figure out how to close something out. Sorry, I'm back. Don't fret. Woo-wee. All right, here we go. Now, now we can do this the right way. See, this is what happens, but it's gonna be okay.
Like I didn't see you. I saw some of y'all pointing to my shoes like she's wearing that shit is not my fault first. Carl said that it was business casual and I did not know I was outdoors, nor did I know y'all were gonna be like raining and whatever. So just so that y'all know, but I can get these suckers off and probably will by the time this is over because I like to be barefoot anyway. So I appreciate that, Roberta. Yeah, we did meet. Gosh, it seems like on one hand, it seems like not that long ago, and then it seems like it's been like a whole lifetime since I packed a sleeping bag and a backpack and went outside of Pleasant Valley Medical Center. For those of y'all who do not know me, I am from the region. I'm from Bristol. Born and raised there. Went to elementary school at Holston Valley, Jesus Christ. Holston View is my elementary school. Went to Vance, all the things. I was a Viking, not a Bearcat, still love Bearcats. That's the Virginia side, so I give y'all that. And my mama is still in the region, and I still care about what happens here. And I care about what happens here, not just because my mom is still here, but because even if I don't agree with a lot of some of the things that happen in the area, or the majority of some of the Republican politics, or even if I'm still maybe traumatized from the things I experienced as a kid, being biracial, being raised here in the 70s, in a 96% white community, people still matter. I still want good things for everybody. And I think most of us feel that way, right? But somehow we've lost all of that in this political mumbo jumbo, and the maggots and the demon rats and the this and the that. And we have lost that thing that at the very end of the day, every single person, Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever, wants your neighbors to have access to free, safe, affordable health care. Even if it's not free, please, dear God, affordable, right? Everybody wants that. Everybody wants their kids to have great education, like accurate education, even if it's uncomfortable, because that's what we need to do to grow, right? We all want affordable housing. I don't think anybody wants people sleeping in the street.
Okay, Mohammed.
Sometimes I would like for some people to sleep in the street just for a little while so they know how it feels and then they can get their stuff together. But that is how I got here. What I found out was that all of the advocacy, all of the good that I wanted to do for people, I ended up back at politics, even though I had no desire to have anything to do with this political crap. But here's what I know, politics is policy and how it affects people. So if I want to impact people, I have to somehow talk about politics. So because of that, the very first thing that I have to do, because I believe that you have to be responsible with your platforms for too much is given, much is required. How many of you all know that? Yeah, everybody familiar with that little phrase right there? How many of you all know what this is? So this is a kafia. I wear this in solidarity with my friends that are in Palestine, my friends that are in Gaza, and I do mean friends. I talk to them every day on TikTok. We've helped families in the last 10 days, 11 days get from the north to the south. I've literally been on TikTok with their cameras on and I can hear the bones in the background while their children cry, right? I had a conversation with Senator King about that. And I'm going to keep having conversations about that, and I don't care if it makes people uncomfortable. I believe that we as a country are responsible for what we do at home and around the world. And that is the reality. I know that this is uncomfortable, and I'd be happy to have a conversation with anybody at any time about the details. Because I had to dig in too, right? I had to dig in. There were so many things about history that I didn't know. That in order for me to get completely up to speed and really understand what's happening today, I needed to know what happened in 1917, and then in 1919, and 1922, and in 1948, and all of that. So I'm not going to talk about Palestine a whole lot other than to say, I want you to see me. I want you to see this Kafia. I want you to think about 20,000 children in Gaza that have been unalived in the last, that's my TikTok language coming out. They have been murdered in the last 22 months. I'm gonna say that number again. 22,000 children. I interviewed a physician, her name is Dr. Mimi Syed. You may have seen her on national TV. I interviewed her twice. She went to Gaza twice. She kept her own log of all of her patients. Can anybody guess, if you saw the interview, you don't cheat, right? But can anybody guess what percentage of her patients were children? Just throw out a number. You said 50, 75? No, 86. 86% of her patients were children. I'm a veteran. That is not collateral damage. That is not just happenstance. That's not it. It's 100% disgraceful. And what it is murder, 100%. And what we have to understand, folks, is while we are in the fight for our democracy here, we are complicit in what is happening in Palestine. And this is one of the places where I think the Democratic Party has to get it together. Because, like Carl was saying, he said, well, what happens when you're looking for candidates and people would rather run as an independent? Like it or not, folks, some of the lack of conversations about Palestine hurt us in the last election.
Yes.
They did. Even though they got someone that was worse, they were so frustrated at people that wouldn't stand up for them. They said, I'd rather sit this out. 80 million people didn't vote. Right? We have to start having conversations. So I do this thing where I'm talking to people because it can get overwhelming. Can it not? Like, how do we save Medicaid? How do we save SNAP? How do we stop, like, a war in Ukraine, a war in Gaza, and the other 5 fake wars that somebody thinks is happening? Just saying. How do we do all of those things, right? It can be very overwhelming. So this is what I teach people to do. How many of you guys have ever seen me do circles on TikTok? Yeah? Okay, so circles, this is the jam. You ready? So this is your tiny inner circle. Think about your circle like your heart. So this is circle number 1. Circle number 1 is what you can control. And most oftentimes that's only you. The most important thing to control is what you think, then what you speak, and then what you do. In that order. Because how many of you all spend time talking? I listen to Senator Kane. This is not a knock at all. Hear my heart when I say this. I'm so tired of hearing about Donald Trump. I'm so tired. Can we have conversations about our neighbors and our kids? Can we have our conversations about like housing and how we're gonna live? And most of us, we're from small towns. We know our neighbors. We know who's living paycheck to paycheck. We know who's going to the food bank. We know who we're taking food to because they don't always have it. Why are we not talking about those things? Was there anything that you learned about Donald Trump tonight that was new? No. Nothing. Not the indictments, they weren't new because that's all everybody talks about. Dear God in heaven, can we talk about good things? And can we meet people where they are? So I believe, how many of you guys have heard, don't talk religion, don't talk politics? Please talk both. And talk them both at the same time. And the reason why we must is because the Republican Party is, they're doing it.
Yeah.
So just by a show of hands, if you feel comfortable, how many of you all identify as Christian? Can you raise your hand for me? Yeah? Are you tired of seeing your religion be misused? And misrepresented? So you have to start holding your neighbor accountable. I told him the other day, I said, ain't no God I know that co-signs a genocide. And by the way, Jesus was a Palestinian. Just saying, for people who don't know, Jesus was a Palestinian. And we have Palestinian Jews and Palestinian Christians. But the reality is nobody cares as long as if they're Palestinians, they just want them to not be there anymore. And it's not okay. Right? What's happening today is not okay. I listened, and God, it sounds like I'm being so bad right now, and I swear to God I'm not. It's when I hear things, they stick out to me, especially when I go, oh my God. So this idea that we're dealing with a tyrant, and then we're going to negotiate. Help me. See, somebody chuckled. You felt that with me, didn't you? Yeah, because I'm just saying, if we're being honest, how are you going to tell me I'm dealing with a tyrant and then tell me that we're going to negotiate? Because do tyrants negotiate? And do you know that this is why people are mad at the Democratic Party? Because you're still trying to negotiate with tyrants while telling people that they're tyrants. And they want you to just stand up and say, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You don't get our children. You don't get our schools. You don't get our public education. You don't get to steal our religion. You don't get to close down our hospitals. You don't get to make a fortune off the backs of poor people. You don't get to do that. And that's the place where you have to be. How many of you are at that place, literally, where you're like, absolutely no more? Because I don't know that a lot of people are. Okay, can I be real for a second? You are. I know you are, because you were already with me from the beginning. Okay.
It's like you almost got enough, and I'm not going to take it.
Absolutely. Had enough, not going to take it anymore. So I think the reason why some of us get here faster than others is because this ain't the first time we've had our rights trampled on. For some people in this country, this is the first time. And you're like, oh, surely it won't be this bad. Let me tell you something, it won't be this bad. If you do not know how bad it can be, please go talk to a Native American. Please do that. Go talk to an African American. Go talk to a Hispanic American. Go talk to a Japanese American. All of that is right here at home, folks. I didn't even talk about things that we do overseas. All of that is right here at home. If we do not understand what happens when bad people are in our offices, I don't know what to tell you. So how do you go about having these conversations? Oh, you look familiar. I'm looking at you, like I know you. Sorry. That's the ADHD all day, right there. You see how this happened? Sorry. But so how do we have these conversations? How many, give me ideas. I like participation, in case you don't know. How do you think we got here? What do you think are the main ways that we got to where we are in this country? How did the Trump campaign accomplish what they did?
Fear. Complacency.
Tribalism.
Complacency.
Complacency, apathy. I heard fear.
Yeah.
Too many preachers in the pulpit. I'm just saying, politicians of the whole nine, you don't believe it. I heard something over here.
Money.
Lying. Money. 100%. Now, can I give you a little bit of like goodness in that though? Do you all understand that after campaigning for 10 years straight, with the richest man in the world trying to buy the election, they still only won by 1.5%. Don't tell me that this country is not ready for a woman, because I believe they are. Don't tell me they're not ready for a woman of color, because I know they are. You campaigned for 107 days. Dude, if I only campaigned for 107 days, you campaigned for 10 years, you only think you got 1%, you suck! Like you suck, right? And this is the thing. I'm not thinking about who's the candidate in 2028. I don't care. What I want to see from the Democratic Party and what the people that I talk to every day want to see is they want to see you be impassioned. They want to see you be bold. They want to see you be proud. They want to see you be fierce. Fight like you're fighting for your grandchildren. That's what I do.
Yes.
Right? I have 3 beautiful, I call them intercontinental, because I'm biracial, right? And their dad is Hispanic. And so I call them into content a little bit of everything. And so when I think about the world that I'm living in, how many of you guys get tired of all of this? How many of y'all have thought, I don't know, I'm going to donkey day today? Did anybody think that before you came? You don't have to raise your hand if you don't want to. Carl said me. Yes, right? But I mean, there are days when you're just like, I don't want to do this fight. I'm tired. What's changing? And this is a real thing. Do you know what I think about when I get like that? I picture John Lewis on the Edmund Pettus Bridge every time. And I think about what he was looking at. Because it wasn't like roses and like or anything, right? It was police with batons and dogs. There's not a single one of us that is facing that right now in here. There are people in this country facing that though, right? There are. They're just a little melanated, might have a different first language, right?
Won't be long.
But it could not be long. So let me give you this. So that right there. So we're going to talk about circle number one, circle of control. You said it won't be long as if it's a guaranteed thing. I don't want it to be fast. I don't want it to be ever. So what I'm going to say is it could be soon, but it won't be. You see what I'm saying? So we do this all the time. Oh, it's going to get better. It's going to get worse before it's better. Do you really want it to? I don't. So could we just not speak that thing, please? Right?
Aunt Tinker, my heart just feels better now that I've seen Abu
Yeah, but
Siraj.
here's my thing. We changed the trajectory.
Yes.
We changed the trajectory. You are the algorithm. You are the term limits. Stop being lazy. Everybody's like, oh, they need term limits. They happen. No. If we don't want them in office, vote them out. That's it. Say what? Just saying. Circle number two. It's your circle of influence. Everybody's is different, but it almost always includes friends, family, peers, coworkers, right? For some of us, it's followers, subscribers, people on the internet. What are you doing in your circle of influence? I knew that today I was going to come up here and I was going to bring my kafila. And I know that there are going to be some people that don't like it. And I don't care. Because it's the right thing to do. I would do it for you. I have done it for this region. Do you understand? I don't have to agree with everything about everybody to do what's right for you. That's what comes down to just basic humanity. We talk all the time about Southern values. Oof. What are they, really? That's why I say I'm country, not Southern. Gets a little wonky, gets a little dangerous down in those weeds between Southern and country, right? Here's what I want you to do as an exercise. When you go home tonight, make a list of the top 10 things you've been talking about. And then I want you to write beside them, circle 1, 2, or 3. The 3 is anything that you can't control or that you can't influence. And I want you to see how much of your emotional currency, your time, your effort, your energy, you are giving to things that you can't do anything about. If we spend 80% of our emotional currency and our time and our energy on what we can control, which is us, and the people that we can influence, we might actually get some shit done. Yeah. Right? But it's a lot easier to just sit around and talk about point 3. You know that James coming in right now. How many of you guys are going to be sitting? Are you going to be in the jury pool? Are you lawyers? I mean, even if you are a lawyer, are you like going to be using defense attorney? That's probably not. Right? So all you want to do is know about it. Know about a thing so that you can respond to people, give them accurate information, and then let's talk about the things that matter. And then how do we talk about them? This is the part where I get really excited. If you don't know that I'm excited, that was the leg right there. That was the sign of excitement. Okay? So here's what I believe about conversations. I believe that every conversation you have to have 4 things. And if you bring these 4 things to every conversation, you will gain understanding even if you do not gain agreement. Okay, you ready? Carl knows them. The first C, the C is compassion. We have lost compassion for each other. I think a lot of us have lost compassion for ourselves. We spend so much time beating ourselves up for what we're not doing, who we could be, what we didn't get done, the weight we didn't lose, the job we didn't get, the whatever it is. Show up with compassion first in every conversation, right? Because if I show up with compassion, I'm listening for connection. The second one is authenticity. If you are not authentic, this is something I know about inner city people having lived in Atlanta and rural people born and raised here in the region, right? Here's what I know. Both can smell bullshit a mile away, right? And so if people aren't authentic, you don't trust them, you don't believe them, you don't want to, it's like, nah, no, thank you, right? And people can tell when you're authentic because they can feel you. How many of you all do this work and you still feel it? Or how many of you guys are just you're just doing phone bank calls and you're just knocking on doors? Do you feel the neighbors that you're trying to reach? Are you able to look past their frustration, past their pain? You think it's anger, but it's probably because they're having to choose between like groceries and, medicine and clothes for their kids and school supplies. They're not really mad at you. They're mad at life and what we've created. Just think, you guys, we could have created anything, and this is what we did. That's why when people are like, we just need to go back to the old days, but these kids just need a whipping. Because I got whippings and I turned out okay. And I'm like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. None of us are okay. Because if we had turned out okay, our world would be so different. We are not okay. And I don't want this for my grandbabies. I met Charles earlier. He's 10. I don't want for Charles. I see this little cutie over here with his little cheeks going. I'm a sucker for the babies. All day. You waving at me, I love it. You want me to see you too? I see you, girl. What you eating? Cute. I see you, bows. Over here. Sissies. I see you. This is the thing. Do you see how, as soon as I started talking about the kids, you all saw them, all of your faces changed. All of your demeanors changed. Immediately you tapped into some place of emotion. And most of the time, we are not doing that when we're phone banking and when we're knocking on doors. And that's the thing that makes people vote. Voting is emotional. Voting is personal. And that's the place where we have to get, right? Compassion, authenticity, respect. Even if I don't like you, I'm going to give you basic respect until you disrespect me one time too many, and then I might give you your energy back. I might meet you where you are. That happens sometimes, right? Sometimes. But just basic respect. And then this one's the really hard one. You ready? Vulnerability. Some of you probably just threw up in your mouth a little bit, didn't you? You know what's crazy is when we see other people be vulnerable, when we see other people tell their traumas and their tragedies, we go, oh my God, they're so inspiring, that's so incredible, that's so amazing. And then we go, okay, well, what about you? And you're like, no, I'm good. Right? Nobody wants to do it themselves. But this is how we connect with each other. Y'all, I grew up in this, I hated growing up here. I hated it. I was 5 the first time I was called the N-word. My brother, when they had their mock election at Wholesome View, he was elected literally the N-word of the year. Like with the teacher, and like a real thing. Hated it here. It was not a joy in the 70s to be biracial in this region. And my black friends, real talk, will say, girl, why are you still talking to people? When I was outside of Holston Valley, they were like, they don't give a shit about you. And my response was, that's okay. I'm here for them, but I'm not here for them. I'm here because it's the right thing to do. And that's the way we have to start approaching each other. It's okay if you don't like me. It's okay. I still want you to have great health care. I still want you to have insurance. I still want you to have good housing and education. I still want you to have a good job. I still want you to have a livable wage, preferably a thrivable wage. I don't just want you to live, I want you to thrive. We're missing connection with each other. So when you go out and you start to have these conversations with people, ask yourself, are you carving out space? Compassion, authenticity, respect, and vulnerability, that's carved. Are you carving out a space where you all can meet in the middle and build understanding? Because if you do that, you can shift people's perspective. They don't have to agree with everything that you say, but you can shift them. And that's what we gotta do. We gotta do a whole hell of a lot of it between now and November 4th, and between next year, and so forth and so on. This is the longer road. I could scare you to death and talk about Donald Trump and blah, 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 but that doesn't work. We'll swing like a pendulum back and forth. I want to get to the root of the problem. And we are the root of the problem. We are the root of the problem. Not him. That joker is who he is. He ain't changing. Like, so what do we do? So what I'm here to say to you is stop talking about him and everybody else. I grew up here in Epping. How many of y'all know Reverend W.A. Johnson before he passed? So that was my pastor my whole life. Matter of fact, if you go to Lee Street Baptist Church and you look at the altars that are there, on the inside of the altars, there's a little plaque there, and it's dedicated in his memory, but it has me and my brother's names right there in the church. And he brought a woman by the name of Carrie Sally to come see with us. It was like during revival. Y'all know how we do church, right? And we were having a revival, and they asked Carrie, how does she talk to people for such a long time? Like her gifts just pour and pour and pour. You know what she said? She said, I look at people and I see them with all the love of Jesus. Now, I'm not asking you to see people with all the love of Jesus. I'm asking you to see people with love. Whatever kind of love you got, compassion love is the highest form of love. Do that, and we will get somewhere, and we will change some things, right? And you're going to be tough at the same time. You can do that. Okay? All right. Before I go, do I have any questions that anybody would like to ask me while I'm here?
Okay.
Anything? I'm open. If not, you can hit me later.
That is the speech from last Saturday. Give me a second so I can turn this off. And I'm going to put you guys back. I know I'm putting you like way up high. Salam Raja.
Great, Danny.
It's good to see you.
Great. All love.
All love, Raja. Raja is also one of our Palestinian press friends. So that was the meeting, guys. And that was at the Washington County, Virginia Democrats event this past Saturday. I've posted it on my YouTube so that you can see it. They pretty much gave me free reign and just said, come do what you do. Just come be you. Thank you all. Thank you for blessing the folks that are on the panel. Sorry, guys, I'm multitasking, trying to put things back up. Okay, cool. So, oh, did y'all see me jerk that right out of that stand? I did. Shit. I gotta pull it up.
Thank you for sharing this. Well, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Kif Halak. So listen, Kif Halak is how are you? Yes?
How are you? Yes.
How are you?
Yep, I got it. I remember.
Quiet, fine.
Say it. Say it again.
كويس.
Koyes.
I'm good.
Koyes is fine. Okay, got it. Yeah, so I know, so I've learned, of course, shukran is thank you. Alfwan is you're welcome. Keith Halleck, how you doing? Kios?
How are you?
Yeah. Uh-huh. I know Siti is
Yes.
Kuyes.
Fine.
Yep. I've learned Siti is grandmother. Quis.
كويس. Yes.
Quace. Yes, I got it. Let me see. What else have I learned? Hella. Yeah, I know that one.
Welcome.
Yep. I know hella. Hella. I know that one. Yeah. See, I'm learning. Yeah, you're welcome, Dennis. Okay, so you guys want to know how my conversation was with the senator. Okay, so at the beginning of this event, I met, that was introduced to Senator Tim Kaine, and I knew. So listen, let me just say this: I knew that he has taken about $600,000 in pro-Israel funds. So not all of it is from AIPAC, right? Some of it is, some of it is not. And so let me see if I can find what I'm looking for. So this was the conversation. That is him. That is me. You guys can't see it over here. But we had a very intense conversation, as you can see. And so he's the junior senator from Virginia. And when he's not arguing with me, Raja, he just got defensive because, so number one, he learned I was one of the speakers there. And yeah, this part he didn't like. And I'll tell you why he didn't like this part of the conversation is because, yeah, arms were crossed. He didn't start out that way. He started out like this, right? And oh, Raja, Afwan, I appreciate you, Habibi. So I asked him about his donations from AIPAC or whatever, and he said, "Oh, I heard that I had gotten money from AIPAC." And I said, "What do you mean you heard? It was like $600,000." And he said, "I've heard that number." And I said, "Well, I mean," I said, "This is the problem that I have with a lot of Democratic candidates. And this is the problem that a lot of people have is that you're taking pro-Israeli money. And there is, and there's literally a G-side taking place in Gaza." And his response was, he said he couldn't really tell me a lot about the whole AIPAC thing because he said that he doesn't know who gives him, like he doesn't look at where the money's coming from. And if it's coming from people who have affiliations with AIPAC, then he doesn't always know that. And he said that he finally admitted that he does meet with AIPAC when they come. And I just said, well, I don't know anybody that gives $600,000 and doesn't want something in return. And then he also stated that $600,000, might be over the entirety of his career because he's been in office since 2014. And so he was using that as an excuse that, it wasn't. And then he finally said, well, if you want to talk about Israel and Palestine, I can do that. I don't really know what to tell you about the donations. And I said, sure, we can do that. And I said, so what is your stance on Palestine and Israel? And he said, I'm one of the few senators to say that that there needs to be a two-state solution. And then he said that he was one of the few senators that believed that there needed to be an embargo that the United States only sends Israel, that they only send Israel defensive weapons. And I said, so can you share with me how you determine what is a defensive weapon? And he said, well, because I'm on the Armed Services Committee. And I said, yes, and I'm a veteran. So can you share with me how you determine? And he was like, well, I mean, like some of the weapons, sure, like they're borderline, they could be used for defense or offense. And I said, exactly. And I said, and so then I said, so this is my, I said, so this is my thing. I said, we need one Democrat that will stand up and say, this is the right thing to do. And I believe others will follow, right? And I said, there needs to be one Democrat that stands up and says, there needs to be an arms embargo on Israel. And then he said, well, this is where I just have to flat out disagree with you. And I said, why is that? And he said, well, because Israel needs to protect itself from Iran. And I said, really? I said, so who's doing the most bombing of other countries, Israel or Iran? Israel. It's Israel that's busy attacking everybody else. Maybe if Israel just minded their business and stopped attacking everybody else, they wouldn't need to defend themselves. And again, and I just said, well, so his thing was, he said, well, I hear you, but I think that, we have to still be able to support Israel. And he said, I think more Democrats are coming on board because he said that the last time they took a vote about only allowing defensive weapons or whatever, there were 27 Democrats on board. And he thought the next time there would be 35 Democrats who voted yes. And I said, meanwhile, 20,000 children in Gaza have died. While you're busy applauding yourself for being one of only a few Democrats, to feel this way, and you think that going from 27 Democrats to 35 is a gain, 20,000 children in Gaza have died. So if you don't want to do an arms embargo, can you tell me how you plan to stop the genocide that's happening in Palestine? And he said it was Palestine getting a state recognized as a state. He said it was humanitarian aid getting in, and it was a ceasefire. And I said, I did say that out loud to him, Sarah. I did. Meanwhile, 20,000 children in Palestine have died. Yeah. So about this time is when somebody came to save him. She came bringing somebody that he just needed to talk to. And that's fine. I did what I was supposed to do, right? I asked hard questions. I gave him things to think about. And then I stood my ground, period. And yeah, Blue Honey Pot. And so what I started to do, and I haven't finished it because life be lifing, right? But what I did start to do was to go back through his campaign donations and look at where he is getting money from. And so he's gotten money from NORPAC. He got 25 grand from NORPAC last year. He gets money from the J Street PAC. A lot of them are pro-Israel PACs, and he's getting money from them. And it's, 5,000 here, 10,000 there, 20,000 here. No, Gmod, the OG, I won't hear from Tim Kaine. I don't expect to hear from Tim Kaine at all. And then he left right after his speech was over. So he spoke first, I spoke after him, and he dipped quickly. And he left, which again is fine with me because I'm not responsible with what he does with the information that I give him. You know what I mean? I'm not responsible for that, but I'm going to absolutely hold him accountable. Right. And I think for him to be able to say, well, I'm not sure. And then he said, yeah, my donors don't tell me what to do. I call bullshit. Why else are they giving to your campaign? Why is someone giving you $25,000 damn dollars if they're not asking for you to do something? I just don't believe that they're not. And if they are, could you please tell them to come see me? Because I could use 25 grand if they don't want anything in return. I don't know anybody giving away $25,000. And at the beginning of that speech, I knew I was going to take my kafia up with me. And I knew that there were going to be people, because where that region is neck deep in Christians, and they believe, Israelites are the chosen people and all of that. And so I knew it was going to make them uncomfortable, and I felt like it was important for me to say to them, I'm doing this because, and if you notice, you know how we talk about it's how we have these conversations with people and knowing your audience. So I know where I'm from. I know that is the Bible Belt of this country, right? So before I pulled out my kafia, what did you hear me say to them? I said, because we have to be accountable for what we do and because we have to talk politics, I said, we are responsible for what we do with our platform, right? And I said, to whom much is given, much is required. And then I said, how many of you all are familiar with that? Why did I do that? Because to whom much is given, much is required is scripture. I know I'm in the Bible Belt. So I quoted the Bible before I brought out my kafia. Right? And that is intentional, because I want them to recognize that what I am doing actually aligns with their belief. Right? And then I said, how many of you all are familiar with to whom much is given, much is required? And a bunch of them were like, yeah, me. And I said, great. And so do you know what this is? This is a kafia. And so this is the way that we need to be having our conversations with each other and with people like Senator Kaine, right? Is being able to say, hey, well, if these are your values, if this is what you profess, that's why you heard me say, how many of you in here identify as Christian? And the whole room said me, almost the whole room, not everybody. And I said, aren't you tired of having your religion misrepresented? Right? And they were like, me, right? And then I brought up Southern values. Well, what are they really? Are Southern values not caring about your neighbor if your neighbor is an immigrant? Are Christian values not caring about Palestine and Gaza? Right? Because they're Muslim? Like, what is that? Yeah, Yari, we can do that. Yeah, we'll set up a workshop for, I don't know, soon. I'll do it in the next week. But it's how we have to have these conversations. And so for me, I just really do. I believe. Here's what's easy. Here's why it's easy for me, folks. Or simple, I guess, is a better word for me to use. I didn't write down that speech. I didn't write down any of that speech. I knew what bullet points I wanted to hit. I knew I wanted to touch on Palestine and bring out my kafia, right? But I didn't write any of it down. And the reason why I don't have to do that is because I live what I'm saying. It's not a speech. It's me talking to you as if I'm talking to you right now. And it doesn't change who's in the room. It doesn't matter to me if a senator is in the room, if a governor is in the room, if it doesn't matter who's in the room, because I'm still going to feel the same way that I feel. I still know that where I am is on the right side of things. I know that wanting to protect children, I know wanting to stop a G-side, I know wanting to get health care to people. I know all of those things are what are right. Salam, Sammy. And so because of that, I don't really have to switch it up any. You know what I mean? Salam, Sammy.
Hello, Omar. Salamat.
Salam. How are you, Raja? How are you, Danny? How are you, Muhammad? How's everybody?
Doing all right. How are you?
Salamat, Abu Omar.
Wallahi, Danny, and every day I'm seeing your platform. Wallahi, I'm proud of you. Wallahi, I'm proud. In order to, you are putting your time. You are, spoke a lot about the Palestinian cause, supporting the Palestinian initiative. So because of that, and I'm really love and respect for you and for your platform. At the end of the day, you are amazing. You are brilliant. Love and respect.
Well, thank you.
Also, when I'm seeing you on any platform, I feel that I'm seeing somebody which I know since long time period.
Yeah,
So
shukran.
when you are in Abu Sraj platform, in your platform, in any platform, to be honest, I'd like also if I'm in the comment, and I'd like to listen to you in order to, you have something to say, your knowledge, your experience, how you are sorting out things. In order to all of that, I enjoy listening to you. So this is not, I'm here in order to make a drama, by the way. This is, I'm telling you the fact. Wallah, I'm telling you the fact. So because of that, trust me, all the word which I'm going to say, it's not enough for Danny. It's not enough for Danny because of that. Maybe I'm almost I'm knowing you 2-3 weeks, something like that. But I feel that I know you since long time period. Oh.
Shukran, Habibi.
So because of that, and as soon as I'm available and I'm seeing you on, I'd like to be in your platform. Also, if I'm down, just to listen, it's fine. So I can understand what you're talking about. I can, listen carefully. Because the way how you are sorting things, it's really professional. It's really professional. So love and respect. Keep going. You are amazing. You are brilliant. Especially nowadays, the situation on the ground, it's really bad, more bad than it used to be. In order to, they are putting the resistance in a very bad position after Trump proposal.
Yes.
It's not his proposal, by the way. This is Netanyahu proposal.
Yeah, I know. Yes.
Actually look like Netanyahu, he write the proposal and he passed it to Trump and he asked him, okay, this is the proposal. And at the end of the day, Netanyahu make a drama. He's trying to put a new point in the proposal. He trying, in order to tell, the world that he is sacrificed in order to reach out the deal. He decided to agree the deal because it's coming from Trump. Any kids, bring kids from the street and gave him the point that the 21 point in the proposal, he can understand at least 20 points. It's, not done by the occupation. At least, I don't know, say 21, 20 or 19 points. It's, requested by Shutdown. So, right now, Hamas, to be honest, they are really in a very bad position. If they agree the proposal, this is mean that the occupation, they announce the war anytime they want, as soon as they get their hostages.
Yes.
And if they refuse the proposal, it means that this is will give, the Arab country which they are sitting with Trump, they will give the green line, in order to keep attack Gaza and to keep an alive people in Gaza. If you're trying to put, yourself in the position of Hamas, to be honest, I don't know how they will sorting out things. I don't know how they will sorting out.
Yeah. Here's what I will say. So first of all, shukran, Habibi. I appreciate you. I think that Hamas is in a bad position, but I knew that they were going to be in one, right? As soon as Netanyahu had his meeting with Trump, I think everyone should have expected for there to be what I consider to be a fake proposal, right? Because there's nothing about that proposal that is good for Palestine. There's nothing about that proposal that gives Palestinians self-determination, right? Which they are entitled to as people. And so I think that as soon as I saw, they know, Sammy, as soon as they included that Hamas needed to demilitarize, they know that that's not happening and it should not happen. Right. And the reason I say that it should not happen is you cannot ask people to lay down arms against their oppressor. Meanwhile, without giving them anything in return. There's nothing required of Israel in that entire agreement. Israel has to commit to nothing. They have to do nothing. And while they're saying that Israel will leave Gaza, that is because they want the United States and this Prime Minister Tony Blair. It's just a different type of occupation that they want. That's it. It's still occupation. It's still the illegal occupation of Palestine. So for me, I believe that Hamas will say no. I believe that they should say no. I believe that the sentiment around the world where Israel is losing, they are being ostracized, as well as the United States, if we're being honest, combined with the global Sumud flotillas and the movements and the protests that are happening by the people in Italy and other places around the world. I think that pressure from the people, right, combined with those flotillas coming into Gaza at this time, I think that is going to be something that that might help Palestinians, to be honest, and it's going to be up to the people. It's going to be.
Are the occupation navy will let the flotilla arrive to Gaza? This is the question. The flotilla around 100 miles away from Gaza.
So they, yeah.
And we know that's how the occupation navy they are dealing with. I mean, you know, the activists in the flotilla, and starting with the first flotilla 2009 when they analyzed 8 activists, and then Madeleine, then I mean, you know, the other flotilla. But this one, the difference between all the previous flotilla and this one, the boat, it's a huge. We are talking about maybe around 46 boats, which they are coming at once. So yes. I think, you know, inshallah they will success. And first of all, we pray for them in order to that those activists, they decide, I mean, you know, to stand next to the Palestinian, I mean, you know, cause the Palestinian people. So we pray for them to arrive safe. As well as, I mean, you know, we hope, I mean, you know, the occupation will not, I mean, you know, attack, you know, the activists.
Right.
In order to that, we expect everything from the occupation. We expect everything from the occupation. So because of that, not in order to threaten the activist, but no, in order to, we want them to be careful. We want them to be careful in order to that they shouldn't trust the occupation. They shouldn't trust the
Correct.
occupation. So because of that, Danny, I'm really worried for the activists. Wallah. Inshallah, they will arrive safe. They will arrive. This is going to be a big achievement. This is going to be a big achievement. In order to, I mean, you know, that this is the strong message will be, I mean, you know, reaching out by all over the world. I mean, you know, and if they will success and they will arrive to Gaza, this is going to be the starting. Yes. And I'm sure that many activists, many flotilla will do it again and again and again, because this is a huge issue going to be. In order to, we are talking about 18 years of siege, 18 years of siege, which being imposing in Gaza. So because of that, I'm really watching, observing where they are arriving. In order to, I want to make sure that they are safe. They are safe, and they will arrive safe. They will be away from danger. So because of that, wallah, if I'm telling you that I'm worried about those activists, about more worried than anything else. Maybe you see that I'm creating a drama. No, but wallahi,
no,
they are really amazing. They are brilliant. So as soon as people like those, which they decide to stand next to the Palestinian cause, next to the Palestinian initiative. So we couldn't leave them away. We couldn't take them away from our behavior, our attitude, our heart. So because of that, wallah, I love and respect for all of them. And wallah, they are amazing. They are brilliant. And inshallah, they will arrive. They will arrive safe, wallah.
Inshallah, inshallah. So I want to read something, because Yuka made a good point the other day. Abu Siraj, he was talking about the joint statement that the Arab nations put out after this deal from Netanyahu and Trump, right? And the verbiage in this statement is important, because it shows that what Trump has stated isn't entirely accurate. And so I want to read this for everybody. So this is a joint statement by the foreign ministers of Saudi Arabia, Jordan, the UAE, Indonesia, Pakistan, Turkey, Qatar, and Egypt. Okay. And here's what the statement says. Okay. The foreign ministers of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, the United Arab Emirates, the Republic of Indonesia, the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, the Republic of Turkey, the State of Qatar, and the Arab Republic of Egypt welcome President Donald J. Trump's leadership and his sincere efforts to end the war in Gaza and assert their confidence in his ability to find a path to peace. Now, I want to pause right there because I like to take the things and kind of break them down, right? All they said was, we welcome his efforts and his leadership. And yep, we're sure he's going to be able to find peace, right? What I see there is what everybody knows works with Donald Trump. Everybody knows that you cater to his ego to kind of soften him up for whatever you might want, right? So what I see is just them placating him. You know what I mean? And that's it. That's what I see. Next, it says they emphasize the importance of a partnership with the United States in securing peace in the region. Along these lines, the ministers welcomed the announcement by President Trump regarding his proposal to the end of the war, rebuild Gaza, prevent the displacement of the Palestinian people, and advance a comprehensive peace, as well as his announcement that he will not allow the annexation of the West Bank. So if I take out all the things, it just says, we welcome the announcement that he made of his proposal. So yay, we welcome your announcement that you've come up with a new proposal. And we welcome your announcement that you're not going to allow the annexation of the West Bank. That's all they said in that paragraph, right? Next, the ministers affirm their readiness to engage positively and constructively with the United States and the parties toward finalizing the agreement and ensuring its implementation in a manner that ensures peace, security, and stability for the peoples of the region. Now, what's important, if you look at this statement, that one paragraph that I just read stands completely by itself, like they separated it from everything else. And I think that this is important because what they said is, we're ready to engage with you. We are ready to be positive. We are ready to work with you constructively to finalize an agreement. Not that we accept the one that you put out, but we're gonna work with you in a positive, productive manner to finalize the agreement and ensure that the implementation of it is done in a manner which would ensure peace, security, and stability for the peoples of the region. So I think that is not them saying we accept the proposal that you put out. So Salam Abu Saraj. So when people say that all of the Arab countries are on board, according to this, they're not. They are on board with negotiating. They are on board with working together to finalize an agreement, right? Salam Abu Saraj. But that's all they've said. And then the last part, this is the last paragraph. They reaffirm their joint commitment to work with the United States to end the war in Gaza through a comprehensive deal that ensures unrestricted delivery of sufficient humanitarian aid to Gaza, no displacement of the Palestinians, the release of the hostages, a security mechanism that guarantees the security of all sides, which we know we don't have yet, right? Full Israeli withdrawal, which we don't have yet, rebuilds Gaza and creates a path for a just peace on the basis of the two-state solution, which immediately following Trump's announcement, Netanyahu said he will oppose a two-state solution. He does not want Palestine to be a state, right? And it says on the basis of a two-state solution under which Gaza is fully integrated with the West Bank in a Palestinian state in accordance with international law as key to achieving regional stability and security. So Donald Trump can tell people all day long that the Arabs agree with him, but according to this document, they don't. They haven't accepted his proposal.
Assalamu alaikum. Hi, Danny, and hi, everyone. I hope you are doing well, my friend.
Listen, you scared me. De la Bala, there was an attack there.
Yeah, actually, since all night long they have been bombing in our area, and they have unalived many people in Deir al-Balah.
Yeah, Mohammed OS came up. His cousin, his cousin's wife, and his cousin's children were all martyred.
And, this is exactly what we have been saying to everyone that no play Deir al-Balah.
There's a delay.
This is the problem. Deir al-Balah is supposed to be butchering them here. Well, yeah, I'm sorry the delay, but can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit. I could hear you say, "Can I hear you now?"
Yeah. Okay, hello, Danny. I will talk about this later because I don't want you guys to be waiting for me to speak. It's gonna be annoying with this interruption.
I heard you perfectly just now.
I heard you perfectly. I wanted to give you a context for why did I disagree with Eucalyptus on what he said yesterday.
Okay.
Because the press release is just an empty word. They mean nothing.
Right.
We need to understand the context. Though caring about the Palestinians are the same regimes who are not allowing their own people to protest for Palestine.
Right.
This is the problem, Danny. It's time. But in Egypt or Jordan, if you protest for Palestine, you go to jail.
Right.
You go to jail. So the same regime who didn't occupation forces, who didn't kick out the ambassadors, who didn't take any political stance against the Israeli regime while the genocide is happening.
Yes.
So, and Trump said that they are, because this is something totally expected from such regimes. Those regimes have always been a hand for Zionism, and they are doing their job the best way possible by suppressing their own people and not show any kind of solidarity with the Palestinians.
Right.
Because they only care about themselves. They only care about staying in their chairs and their offices, and that is the most important thing for them. And another example of how I made sure that they are on board with this is that as soon as the meeting between Trump and those leaders ended, the Turkish president, which by the way is the loudest one of them all speaking for Palestine, said by himself that they reached a great plan with President Trump. So what I'm trying to say, Danny, the statement doesn't mean anything because even if Trump was lying, they didn't come out and say in a clear way that Trump is wrong, we are not on board with this plan. For example, the United Nations, they issued a press release saying, we are not part of this plan.
Right.
And we will not be on board with it, the United Nations. But why didn't they do that? Because again, they are controlled by the US and Israel, and they just will do and say whatever their masters tell them to do and say.
And this is why I say it's really going to be up to the people to ensure that this happens. I think that the flotilla, Abu Saraj, I feel like there's 47 boats. Somebody's getting through. You know what I mean? Somebody is getting through. They are at about, I would say they're about 90, 85, 90 nautical miles out. And I really do feel like the next 24 hours, we may see a shift in everything that's happening, depending upon what happens with these flotillas. And I know another flotilla just launched today. It has medics and medical supplies and physicians on board. So yeah, so Rebel.
You're right.
Yeah. So Rebel, I think that they will. So in terms of like actually reaching Gaza, that would be around 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, approximately. Okay. That's what we would be looking for. Now, but the thing is, I want you all to remember something. So Gaza is 7 hours ahead of us. So I'm on the East Coast. So while it is noon my time, it is 7:15 in Gaza. And so that means it's going to get close to sunset soon, right? It is going to get dark soon. And that is when we have to be concerned about the flotillas and their safety and what's happening. Got it? Abu Saraj said it's already dark here. Yeah, so I'm looking at the live feed from the flotillas. It's not dark at sea just yet. He does speak the truth. I know he does, Rebecca Littlebird. I know he does. I feel like, and it's so weird because you know what I felt like when he was describing the Arab nations? I kind of felt like he was almost describing the Democratic Party. Because they have sold us out so many times in terms of the people. He wants to relieve pressure on them through his plan. Right, Raja. And so, but I think this is so last night I know, oh my gosh. Hella, Hiba. Good to see you, Habibti. So I think it's really important for folks to know, like last night when I got off of here, just on this one YouTube, there was 20,000 people that were watching. And everybody was saying screen record, screen. So this is the thing. The world is watching, not hi, I guess. You're hilarious. So for those of you guys who might be watching in other spaces, you're like, what does that sound like? So listen, there's a lot of joking and lighthearted banter that happens because everything is so heavy. Everything is so heavy that laughter is needed. Laughter is necessary. And so we like to engage in that. So sometimes we mess with Abu Saraj about his feet and his phone and his height.
Danny, do they see our comments as well?
No, not over there. They don't. TikTok still hasn't approved for me to integrate them.
Yeah, so I just want to say hi to all of the lovely people watching us on each and every platform. We love you guys. We appreciate your support, and free Palestine.
Yeah, so over there, when you were speaking, somebody typed in the comments and they said, he speaks truth. And then when you were talking, when I was talking, somebody was like, it's dark now. Yeah, my live shows it's starting to get dark too. So yeah, so they can hear you perfectly. I've got the microphone so that they can hear everything. They just can't see all the written comments yet. So, so listen, folks, Allah, the folks on the panel, all Palestinian journalists, all people that need support. So whether that's coins or whatever. Yeah, so there are 47 boats in the flotilla. Okay. So let me just do this because I know we keep kind of going around. Yeah, he's a journalist today, Hiba. He does report on what's happening in Gaza every day. He does provide reporting every day. Let me say this. Good morning, Juan. Yeah, you're more than welcome. Absolutely, Juan. Absolutely. So let me say this to everybody. If you are a United States citizen, there are a ton of things that you might want to be concerned about right now and doing things, right? Number one is this government shutdown, and make sure that you are articulating exactly what the cause of this shutdown is. The cause of this is trying to save healthcare for millions of people. And let me tell you specifically, the subsidies that currently exist for people that are getting the Affordable Care Act, they are due to expire at the end of this year. And the Democratic Party is holding the line with the administration and saying, we are not going to pass this resolution unless you all agree to extending those subsidies so that those millions of Americans can continue to afford their insurance. Some premiums will go up to like the thousands of dollars, and they're already high. So the conversation that you've got to have with people is, why doesn't the GOP want to take care of Americans and ensure that they can afford their health insurance? It should concern you that the message on the housing and urban development government site is accusing the radical left, and I quote, of causing this shutdown. It should concern you that that government website also says God has blessed us with all these things. And then it says that they are to help people become self-sufficient. That's concerning coming from HUD. Okay. Also, if you do not know this, BlackRock and another company just like BlackRock, y'all, they are purchasing utility companies. Holy shit. This is a real thing. Google BlackRock purchasing utility companies, and you will find out that through their subsidiary, them and another private equity group are buying up our utility companies across the country. That's a problem. This is the time that people need to not just be in the street, but be in the street, be on your congressman's phone line. This is the time where the people are going to have to, if you were still on ACA, yours would triple. Right, Veronica. So these are the conversations that you've got to have. And by the way, when Pete Hegseth says to everyone, to these generals and these admirals, that we're not going to have any more fat generals, that the people who are in charge of our military need to look the part, I want to know, does that apply to the commander-in-chief? If you're on the Affordable Care Act, then and your premiums are subsidized, it will impact you. Y'all hear me? If we're going to have no more fat generals, if we're going to have the warrior ethos, if our military needs to look the part, right? Does that apply to the commander-in-chief? And the Secretary of State, could he learn how to do a pull-up, please? Because dear God in heaven, right? Things that I want you to be concerned about yesterday, and I was going to play all these clips. I'm not sure how long I'm going to be on, but I want you all to know this, that yesterday Pete Hegseth said out loud during this speech of his that he would be finding out which people, which generals, which admirals, which of them had implemented what he considers to be woke policy because they were forced to do it by the previous administration, and which of them actually believe in DEI, and he will be getting rid of those people because that means that they will not be able to align with the new administration. You hear me? He said that yesterday. He also said that they are now removing restrictions in basic training. If you are in basic training, your drill sergeants can put their hands on you. Hey, Goldie, did you hear me? He's now, they've said that they can now put their hands on you. Y'all didn't hear that? Let me see if I can find it for you. Raja and Allah, you guys, feel free to stay in here if you would like. Taco, if you want to come discuss what you disagree with, you are more than welcome to. People that are in the that have requested up, and I don't know if you mean to have requested up or not. Mama CF, Sunflower Fish, Davina, Alicia Bling, all of you all have requested up. Oh, girl, I'm not listening to the whole speech. That damn thing's an hour long. I can't listen to Pete Hegseth for an hour. I will, I would vomit in my mouth repetitively. All right, so let me get you all here, okay? All right. Right. I can't do it. I tried to, what's up, Shantae? I tried to like move this around and note places where I wanted to talk things. Okay, so let me pull it up and show you. Oh, thank you guys for hitting the goal. I appreciate it. I know it's a balance of hitting I know it's a balance of like hitting my goal. Salam Amal, and also with gifting over here. But give me a second, because I do know that if all we do is gift the boxes, TikTok doesn't like that either. But let me pull this up for you. 1 second. Oh, wrong one. That's the Flotilla. Okay, so I'm going to play this part for you that I want you all to hear really quickly, okay?
Is your business reaching its full revenue potential? Save time and resources.
It's an ad, of course.
Faster with Conga's contract man.
As you have seen, and the media has obsessed over, I have fired a number of senior officers since taking over.
Listen.
The previous chairman, other members of the Joint Chiefs, combatant commanders, and other commanders. The rationale for me has been straightforward. It's nearly impossible to change a culture with the same people who helped create or even benefited from that culture, even if that culture was created by a previous president and previous secretary. My approach has been simple. When in doubt, assess the situation, follow your gut, and if it's the best for the military, make a change. We all serve at the pleasure of the president.
Which actually is not true. So let me stop. They don't all serve at the pleasure of the president. The people in the military serve because they signed a contract and they took an oath to the Constitution, not to the president of the United States. And so as soon as I heard him say that, I immediately thought, no, bro, not the case. I agree, Brian. Pete Hegseth's ignorance is dangerous. I agree. So let me keep going.
But in many ways, it's not their fault. It's not your fault. As foolish and reckless as the woke department was, those officers were following elected political leadership. An entire generation of generals and admirals were told that they must parrot the insane fallacy that, quote, our diversity is our strength. Of course, we know our unity is our strength.
So he just said that our diversity is not our strength. Now, let me just say this. Every study that has ever been done around corporations, around organizations, diversity is 100% a strength. It increases revenues, it increases productivity, it increases all of those things, right? Thanks, Amal. So just so we're clear, it increases quality, everything, 100%. So here we go. Here's more.
They had to put out dizzying DEI and LGBTQI plus statements. They were told females and males are the same thing, or that males who think they're females is totally normal. They were told that we need a green fleet and electric tanks. They were told to kick out Americans who refused an emergency vaccine. They followed civilian policies set by foolish and reckless political leaders. Our job, my job, has been to determine which leaders simply did what they must to answer the prerogatives of civilian leadership, and which leaders are truly invested in the woke department and therefore incapable of embracing the War Department and executing new lawful orders. That's it. It's that simple.
So he says, listen, I am going to find out who just implemented the policies of the previous administration and who's actually who believes in them. If you believe in diversity, if you believe in equity, if you believe in inclusion, then that means you automatically will be unable to align with the new policies, which means they're going to put your ass out of the military. That's what it means, right? Hold on, there's another part that I want to get to. Let me see if this is it.
So for the past 8 months, we've gotten a good look under the hood of our officer corps. We've done our best to thoroughly assess the human terrain. We've had to make trade-offs and some difficult decisions. It's more of an art than a science. We have been and will continue to be judicious, but also expeditious. The new compass heading is clear. Out with the Shirellis, the Mackenzies, and the Millies, and in with the Stockdales, the Schwarzkopfs, and the Pattons. More leadership changes will be.
So I don't know if you all caught what he just said. When he's referring to getting out of some of these generals that he named, for example, General Milley, those were the names of leaders that he said we're going to do away with those leaders and we want some. So let me just tell you all, General Milley is the reason. General Milley stood between Trump and the unlawful weaponization of our military during the first term. General Milley is who protected us, just to be clear. But because General Milley spoke against the things that Donald Trump wanted to do, all of a sudden he is someone that it's out with the General Milleys. I just want you all to really understand what they are saying and what he is saying. Okay? Hold on.
Be made of that, I'm certain. Not because we want to, but because we must. Once again, this is life and death. The sooner we have the right people, the sooner we can advance the right policies. Personnel is policy.
As soon as we have the right people, then we can advance the right policies. So if you all remember last week when this meeting was called, I said to you all, I believe that this meeting is going to be about seeing who's going to be loyal and who is not. Who are they going to get rid of and who is not? And that's exactly what you hear him saying now, is we are going to assess and then we're going to get rid of you. That is what they are saying. They are testing the waters and seeing who is loyal and who is not. Now, let me tell you what my honest thing is here. Every single one.
From Gaza, please, no water, no hunger. والله ما عندي أكل, معايا 6 أيام.
Is this not our Amal? Is this not Amal? Why does that look like Sophia's picture? Is Amal still in here? Doesn't that look like Sophia's picture? No, but that looked like her daughter Sophia's picture. Okay. Bless it. Okay. Yeah, it said Sophia. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, I know there are scammers, but I just not the angry faces. Not the angry faces. I cannot. Um it wasn't her. See how she's got the angry faces right now? See, this is why all that energy you throwing up right there, all of that energy right there that you throwing up, that's the problem. Yeah, I know that's not a mall. I'm trying all out, right? I'm trying. Look, Shantae said 1 sec. Shantae about to handle something. Okay. But this is that's not so hot either. See? That's what I'm saying. This is what is so sad. This is what is so sad because don't pretend to be other people. Don't pretend to be other people. Okay? All right. Let me finish.
But I look out at this group and I see great Americans. Leaders who have given decades to our great republic at great sacrifice to yourselves and to your families. But if the words I'm speaking today are making your heart sink, then you should do the honorable thing and resign. We would thank you for your service. But I suspect, I know, the overwhelming majority of you feel the opposite. These words make your hearts full. You love the War Department because you love what you do, the profession of arms. You are hereby liberated to be an apolitical, hard-charging, no-nonsense, constitutional leader that you joined the military to be. We need you locked in on the M, not the D, the E, or the I, not the DEI or the DIE of dime. By that I mean the M, military, of the instruments of national power. We have entire departments across the government dedicated to diplomatic, informational, and economic lines of effort. We do the M. Nobody else does. And our GoFos need to master it in every domain and every scenario. No more distractions, no more political ideologies, no more debris. Now, of course, we're going to disagree at times. We would not be Americans if we didn't. Being a leader in a large organization like ours means having frank conversations and differences of opinion. You will win some arguments and you will lose some arguments. But when civilian leaders issue lawful orders, we execute. We are professionals in the profession of arms. Our entire constitutional system is predicated upon this understanding. Now,
it was a TED Talk for nationalism.
It's not. This includes as well the behavior of our troops online.
Listen.
To that end, I want to thank and recognize the services for their new proactive social media policies.
Listen to this.
Use them. Anonymous, online, or keyboard complaining is not worthy of a warrior. It's cowardice masquerading as conscience.
It's now in the military.
Anonymous unit-level social media pages that trash commanders, demoralize troops, and undermine unit cohesion must not be tolerated.
Listen.
Again, O3s, E6s. Sixth, we must train and we must maintain. Any moment that we are not training on our mission or maintaining our equipment is a moment we are less prepared for preventing.
So understand that they are saying that if you are active duty military, you cannot complain about what's happening in the military, even if it's even anonymously, even if you have a private page or whatever. You are not allowed to say anything on social media about what's happening.
Or winning the next war. That is why today, at my direction, we are drastically reducing the ridiculous amount of mandatory training that individuals and units must execute. We've already ended the most egregious. Now we're giving you back real time. Less PowerPoint briefings and fewer online courses, more time in the motor pool, and more time on the range. Our job is to make sure you have the money, equipment, weapons, and parts to train and maintain. And
not everybody goes to the fucking motor pool, Pete.
You all know this because it's common sense.
It's not my MOS.
The tougher and the higher the standards in our units, the higher the retention rates in those units. Warriors want to be challenged. Troops want to be tested. When you don't train and you don't maintain, you demoralize. And that's when our best people decide to take their talents.
Oh, I know, Rebel. Hold on.
The leaders who created the woke department have already driven out too many hard chargers. We reverse that trend right now.
He's very
there is no
unsafe.
world in which high-intensity war exists without pain, agony, and human tragedy. We are in a dangerous line of work. You are in a dangerous line of work.
Traffic deaths.
Now, let me tell you all,
high in 2021,
do you know
according to the
what
US Department of
percentage,
Transportation. So what's going on and how
do
can
you
this
know
be prevented?
what percentage of military actually see combat?
We may lose good people. But let no warrior cry out from the grave, if only I had been properly trained. We will not lose warfighters.
Let no
because
warrior
we
cry
fail to
out from the
train
grave.
Or equip them or resource them. Shame on us if we do. Train like your warriors' lives depend on it. Because they do. To that point, basic training is being restored to what it should be.
Listen.
Scary, tough, and disciplined. We're empowering drill sergeants to instill healthy fear in new recruits, ensuring that future warfighters are forged. Yes, they can shark attack, they can toss bunks, they can swear, and yes, they can put their hands on recruits. This does not mean they can be reckless or violate the law.
They can put their hands on recruits.
Use tried and true methods to motivate new recruits, to make them the warriors they need to be. Back to basics at basic as well. Of course, and you know this, basic training is not where mission readiness should end. The nature of the evolving threat environment demands that everyone in every job must be ready to join the fight if needed. A core credo of the Marine Corps is every Marine a rifleman. It means that everyone, regardless of MOS, is proficient enough to engage an enemy threat at sea, in the air, or in a so-called rear area. We need to ensure that every member of our uniformed military maintains baseline proficiency in basic combat skills, especially because the next war, like the last, will likely
your MOS is your job.
Finally, as President Trump rightly pointed out when he changed the department name, the United States has not won a major theater war since the name was changed to the Department of Defense in 1947. One conflict stands out in stark contrast.
Oh, thank you, Shante.
Why? Well, there's a number of reasons, but it was a limited mission with overwhelming force and a clear end state. But why did we execute and win the Gulf War?
Can we get Allah to just like 1,000 coins at least? I would love 2,000 coins at least.
One was President Ronald Reagan's military buildup gave an overwhelming advantage. And two, military and Pentagon leadership had previous formative battlefield experiences. The men who led this department during the Gulf War were mostly combat
Okay, so hold on.
Of the Vietnam War.
There's another
they said never again to mission creep. We fight because we love what's behind us. You see, the Ivy League faculty lounges will never understand us, and that's okay. Protect them. watch over them. And as you gave all of yourself, because we are the War Department, Lord, please keep my soul.
Oh, hold on. Listen.
We are not an army of one. We are a joint force of millions of selfless Americans.
Appreciate you guys.
We are warriors. We are purpose-built, not for fair weather, blue skies, or calm seas.
Listen.
We were built to load up in the back of helicopters, 5 tons, or Zodiacs in the dead of night, in fair weather or foul, to go to dangerous places, to find those who would do our nation harm.
He's so full of
and
shit.
Deliver justice on behalf of the American people.
Yeah, the name has not been changed.
If necessary.
They changed it on social media. That's it.
We fight not because we hate what's in front of us. We fight because we love what's behind us. You see, the Ivy League faculty lounges will never understand us, and that's okay. Because they could never do what you do. The media will mischaracterize us, and that's okay. Because deep down, they know the reason they can do what they do is you. In this profession, you feel comfortable inside the violence so that our citizens can live peacefully. Lethality is our calling card, and victory our only acceptable end state.
It is, Ivy Gina.
In closing, a few weeks
Ivy
ago,
Gina.
at our monthly Pentagon Christian prayer service,
listen,
I recited a commander's prayer. It's a simple yet meaningful prayer for wisdom.
At the Pentagon Christian prayer
I
service.
encourage you to look it up if you've never seen it. But the prayer, it ends like this. And most of all, Lord, please keep my soldiers safe. Lead them, guide them, protect them, watch over them. And as you gave all of yourself for me, help me give all of myself for them. And amen. I have prayed this prayer many times since I've had the privilege of being your secretary. And I will continue to pray this prayer for each of you as you command and lead our nation's finest. Go forth and do good things, hard things. President Trump
Watch this.
has your back, and so do I. And you'll hear from him shortly. Move out and draw fire, because we are the War Department. Godspeed.
Now watch, listen. Listen. You hear them damn crickets?
You're watching Secretary Hegseth addressing a meeting of hundreds of top-ranking generals and admirals. Hegseth told
Not
the
an ounce of clapping. Nothing. Because we are the War Department. And nobody said a word. Nobody said a word. There was something else that I wrote down.
Some of it hidden.
Hold on, let
That
me
are
see.
passed to this, as I've said before, is of God. Every parent deserves to know that their son or their daughter that joins our ranks is entering exactly the kind of unit that this. Every designated combat arms position returns to the highest male. It all starts with physical fitness but today, at my direction, every member of the joint force at every rank is required to take a PT test twice a year, as well as meet height and weight requirements twice a year.
He is such an idiot. Like, what an idiot. Idiot. Idiot, idiot, idiot. Like, sorry, you guys. Yeah, listen, there's a whole lot of reasons. There's a whole lot of reasons I don't respect Pete Hegseth, right? Oh, yeah. Listen, Shantae, they've been laughing at us. Other countries have been laughing at us for a really, really long time. No, it really does make a difference. Let me tell you why it does make a difference. So, Nico, the reason why it makes a difference is because this is if they choose to, if they don't believe that someone identifies with their ideology, then you're talking about soldiers that have 25 years in, 20 years in, 30 years in some cases, and they are being threatened with being put out of the military. Um, it's a big deal. It is a very, very big deal. And this idea that we can, and when he says apolitical, everybody knows that that's not accurate. Right, Peacemaker, or those that are just under retirement. Exactly. And so this is 100% about whether or not do I think we'll see a mass exodus from the military because of this. It would not surprise me if that's the case. I do believe that you'll see less people, and we already had recruitment issues in the military. I am sure that is going to increase, right? And so I think that I think what people need to understand is they want loyalists in every position, in every way. That's what they want. They want loyalists that will do whatever they command. And one of the reasons why this is, okay, is because of the things that they want them to do by putting boots on the ground in American cities. So you have to understand, if you're about to try to weaponize the military against your own citizens, you've got to make sure that you've got leaders who are willing to do that. And that's what he wants. Nwanda, they don't. That's in Project 2025, but they do not. That's in Project 2020, but they do not, because there's no bill that's done that. And so I think what people don't understand about this is, will you see? Okay, so I'm just going to tell you my personal opinion. This is my personal opinion. I think that you will. I think that you will see. I think the largest group of people that you will see joining the military will be young radicalized white boys. That's what I think that you will see. Those are the same types of people that when they were in the military did things that they committed war crimes. Those are the same type of individuals that did horrific things when they were stationed overseas. Like, we really, I don't know that a lot of people know this, that we committed atrocities in other countries. We had soldiers that raped women over there. We had soldiers that unalived civilians. Like there's a lot of that, right? And so I think that, well, but here's the difference, in my opinion, about Charlie Kirk's crew, like the Turning Point USA folks. Those people aren't made for combat. You got to remember, Turning Point USA about college students. He went to colleges and universities to talk to those people. That is not the same thing as poor, rugged, rural people. They are not the same thing. So no, I think the Turning Point USA crew are the future prosecutors, judges, lawyers, politicians, and political appointments that they want. Right, Jen LeClaire. Those are the policymakers. Salam Abu Binks. And so that's what people need to understand. Fuck yeah, you should be concerned. we are past concerned. I knew it was coming, Lisa. I knew it was coming. So Politico just wrote an email. Politico just wrote an article. Give me a second. I'm going to read it to you. You ready? So Politico says, quote, could have been an email. Officials balk at Hegseth's generals meeting. The last-minute gathering featured hundreds of senior military officials who swear an oath to the Constitution, attending something more akin to a campaign rally. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's speech to top generals was supposed to serve as a rallying cry for military exceptionalism, but it didn't land that way with many of the people it was targeting. Numerous defense officials who watched senior brass scramble to Washington and then sit through a partisan speech from President Donald Trump and a return to old school military standards by Hegseth were left wondering why the event had occurred at all. I love the fact that these guys are speaking out. Quote, more like a press conference than briefing the generals, said one defense official who, like others, was granted anonymity due to fears of retribution. Quote, could have been an email, end quote. Defense officials in the Pentagon and at bases around the world spent much of Tuesday trying to make sense of the last-minute gathering at the Quantico base in Virginia. Hegseth called out, quote unquote, fat generals, fat commanders-in-chief, and separately pushed fitness standards that could limit women in combat roles, while Trump offered his justification for sending the military into American cities. The 90-minute event, which featured military officials who swore an oath to the Constitution, attending something more akin to a campaign rally, had the feeling of a Hollywood production. Trump even instructed officials to, quote unquote, just have a good time. The meeting took place hours before a likely government shutdown and struck some officials as a distraction that threatens to shift the military's focus away from foreign threats toward an unprecedented domestic role. Quote, not quite a loyalty test, but on the spectrum of loyalty to ideology, end quote, said a second defense official, quote unquote, total waste of money. Joint Chiefs Chair General Dan Kane's suggested Russian and Chinese officials would worry that hundreds of American generals and admirals had gathered together. But some current and former defense officials instead feared the security risk of sticking almost all of America's top officers in the same room. 100%, right? But some current, yeah, I know, Nantu, I know. Yeah, give me just a second, folks. Let me look and see what. But some current and former defense officials instead feared the security risk of sticking almost all of America's top officers in the same room, and they dismissed Hegseth's effort to bolster the military's aggressive image through grooming standards and ending diversity programs. Quote, it's a waste of time for a lot of people who emphatically had better things they could have been and should have been doing, quote unquote, said a former senior defense official. Quote, it's also an inexcusable strategic risk to concentrate so many leaders in the operational chain of command in the same publicly known time and place to convey an inane message of little merit, end quote. 100%. Some officials spent their time doing back of the envelope math on ChatGPT to figure out how much the spectacle cost. Others across bases chose to avoid watching entirely. I'm cracking up. Hold on. A third defense official was quoted as saying, quote unquote, "At this point, I'm averting my eyes." What the heck? Oh my gosh. Which I also expressed concerns about having so many of them in the same place, right? At one time when everybody knew where they were going to be. Dangerous, 100%. I did, which, thank you for asking. I did. The Trump department, which Trump has tried to rebrand as the Department of War, argued the event boosted morale and empowered military leaders. Quote, "The war on warriors is over," end quote. What? So the Pentagon spokesperson, Sean Parnell, said, quote, "The war on warriors is over. Political correctness has no home at the Department of War. Today's address cements a new but familiar culture we refer to as the warrior ethos and postures the department toward a new era of peace through strength," end quote. Hegseth's order that military commanders uphold physical fitness standards elicited jokes from prospective Democratic presidential candidates like Gavin Newsom, who publicly doubted whether Trump, the commander-in-chief, would qualify for his job under the new rules. But both within the Pentagon and on Capitol Hill, people voiced worries about Hegseth's remark that rules of engagement designed to protect civilians were quote unquote stupid. Listen, you all, Pete Hegseth actually said that the rules of engagement that are designed to protect civilians were quote unquote stupid. And Trump suggested that the Pentagon would form quick reaction forces to quell upheaval in American cities. Quote, "Deploying U.S. troops against U.S. citizens in American cities isn't just unprecedented and unconstitutional, it's un-American," Representative Pat Ryan, an Army veteran who served in Iraq, posted on X. "Every freedom-loving American patriot, regardless of their political party, must speak up now." Representative Chrissy Houlihan reiterated her call for Hegseth to resign after the meeting, saying the Pentagon chief, quote, "embodies dangerous views that undermine our military's efficacy, lethality, and readiness," end quote. The Pentagon has insisted the U.S. military is retooling to prepare for a potential war with China, but sending American troops to patrol their own cities will, quote unquote, distract warfighters from actually training to fight and win, end quote, against Beijing, said a fourth defense official. Let me just tell you something. That's not a fight we want to pick. I really don't think that's a fight we want to pick. And also, let me tell you that there is news about what is happening in Venezuela because Trump has moved our warships closer to Venezuela, and they are taking steps as a result. So let me finish. Several Trump allies, including Senator Tommy Tuberville from Alabama, who's an ass, said a face-to-face meeting like Hegseth's helped reinforce the administration's visions. There needs to be more warfighter training, he said in an interview. Quote, "We don't do enough of it. We don't do enough flying training. I like this approach. I thought it was a strong speech," end quote. Democrats, on the other hand, attacked the event as purely vanity-driven, because it was. Senator Mazie Hirono from Hawaii called the resources used for the meeting, quote unquote, "totally unjustified," yes, the football coach, "and an exercise in chest thumping." Quote, "This comes at the expense of real national security," she said in an interview, "but obviously they don't give a rip," end quote. So that is the latest from Politico this morning. I know he was flagged when Biden was in office. Yeah, he wasn't allowed to escort the president. Yeah, Hegseth is not safe at all. He is a Christian nationalist all day long. For those of you all that are watching the Flotilla, let me tell you that they are beginning to show more of these ships because it is nighttime now. let me take this off the screen for a second so I can show you guys. So what you see them doing right now is, yeah, I had it on all night long. Yes, he was, Elizabeth. It was just dampened by his love of beverages. Let me just say that. Okay. So listen, what they are doing now is they are 100% putting up more of the boats on the live feed. What's up, Phantom? So that people can see what's going on. This is going to be a big deal tonight, you guys. I want to be clear about like what the next little bit is going to be like. I am glad they shared pics of real leaders looking bothered by the show. 100%. They nobody clapped, nobody had shit to say, nobody was interested. Like real talk, right? Let me show. This is the live stream that I wanted you guys to see and the tracker. So here is where we are, sweating worse than a waterfall. You must be working. So they are well past Port Said. Gosh, they are getting so close. Let me show you guys. We are talking about 12 or 13 hours from Gaza. That's what we are talking about. We are talking about 12 to 13 hours from Gaza. It is now nighttime. So I'm going to share with you all. They do not. None of the warships are there. So I was on a panel with one of the flotilla, with one of the boats last night. And what I can tell you is that at that time, they were 140 nautical miles out. They are traveling about 5 nautical miles an hour. So you figure that was at about 11 p.m. last night. So if that was about 11 p.m., hold on. I didn't see what you said, Shantae. All right, got you. All right, so listen, folks. Let's do some math together for just a minute. If at 11 o'clock last night, they were 140 nautical miles away, and they're going at about 5 nautical miles an hour, right? Then, you're looking at, it was about 28 hours from last night at 11 p.m. So that would mean 11 p.m. tonight plus 4 more hours, which would be 3 o'clock in the morning, our time. That's about the time that they should arrive. So this morning, there was myself and several other people were actually on a panel on one of the boats. No, Jima, it is a strictly humanitarian effort. Gaza time, that's 10 o'clock in the morning, Shimmy. Gaza time, that is 10 o'clock in the morning. I am being told that the last update was that there were Israeli boats about 20 nautical miles away from them. But that's it. I think so. Peacekeeper, here's the challenge, right? I could, but when the flotilla scribe goes live, Like last night, I joined their live and ended up going up on the panel just to help with viewership. I think it helps more if I'm on their live than it does if I'm live. You know what I mean? So that's the plan. That is the plan for me is to go live. Yeah, is to go live, is to be on the panel with them to just help with viewership. Okay. So that's my plan. Aziz. It's Aziz. Aziz is another one of our Palestinian journalist friends. Oops, hold on. Oops. Aziz, كيف حالك؟ كيف حالك Aziz? Aziz. Right. Yep. Gaza is 7 hours ahead of us. Nope, Christine. Thanks for asking. My daughter's getting them today. So Kaif Halik means how are you in Arabic. Thanks, Cheryl. I'm learning, Raja. I'm learning. Shukran. I do. At 4:30, I do. Yep, Lisa, me too. Right, Goldie Aziz. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do is for my folks that are on Substack, YouTube, Facebook, I'm going to go ahead and wind this down. Been on for 3.5 hours with you. If you want to stay tuned in and live with me, I'll be live on TikTok for a little while longer. Just going over some more Palestinian stuff, going over just some more U.S. stuff and all of that. But they tend to not like it when they stretch out too long on Facebook and Substack and YouTube. So feel free to come join me on TikTok. I